And would like to recognize the presence of Senator Amy, even though she's on the phone, all the way from Ilocos Norte. Morning, Senator Amy. And before we continue, let me recognize our committee secretary, acknowledge our esteemed guest and colleagues for today.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. For our hearing today, we would like to acknowledge the virtual presence of our resource persons. First, from the members from the House of Representatives, we have Deputy Speaker Rufus Rodriguez of the 2nd District of Cagayan de Oro City, Deputy Speaker Deogracias Victor B.V. Sabaliano from the 1st District of Ilocos Sur, Deputy Speaker Christine Singson-Mihan from the 2nd District of Ilocos Sur. We also have Deputy Speaker Wesley Gatchalian from the 1st District of Valenzuela City. We also have with us Rep. Lorna Bautista Bandigan from the Lone District of Davao Occidental. Good morning, ma'am. Representative Carl Nicolas Cari from the 5th District of Leyte. Representative Maximo Dalog Jr. from the Lone Representative of the District of Mount Province, Rep. Mark Go from the Lone District of Baguio City, and Rep. Florida Rida Robes from the Lone District of San Jose del Monte City. From our executive agencies, we have with us Dr. Estela L. Carino, the Regional Director of CAR, Ms. Mary Caroline B. Verano, the Schools Division Superintendent of Baguio City, Dr. Meliton Zurbano, the OIC Schools Division Superintendent of Valenzuela City, Dr. Jenlyn Rose B. Corpus, Schools Division Superintendent of Quezon City, together with Engineer Mark Voltaire Padilla, the Assistant Schools Division Superintendent. From the Region 1 of DepEd, we have with us Attorney Rhea Joy Carbonell, the Legal Officer. We also have with us Mr. George M. Reinante, the Schools Division Superintendent of Ilocos Sur, Dr. May B. Eclar, the Regional Director of Region 3, Dr. Merlina P. Cruz, the OIC Schools Division Superintendent of San Jose del Monte City, Dr. Gilbert Sadsa, the Regional Director of Region 5, together with Mr. Roy Banas, the Chief Education Supervisor of the Policy Planning and Research Division. We also have with us Mr. Jose L. Doncillo, the Schools Division Superintendent of Sorsogon. Mr. Raul B. Agban, the OIC Schools Division Superintendent from the City of Baybay. Dr. Isabelita M. Bores, the Regional Director of Region 9. Dr. Maria Liza R. Tabilon, the Schools Division Superintendent of Zamboanga del Norte. Dr. Alan G. Fornazo, the Regional Director of Region 11, together with Assistant Regional Director Maria Ines C. Asuncion and Ms. Janelito S. Atilio, the Chief of Quality Assurance Division. We also have with us Dr. Lorenzo E. Mendoza, the OIC Schools Division Superintendent of Davao Occidental, together with Ms. Janet R. Octura. From the Department of Tourism, we have with us Attorney Viveca Lopez, the Supervising Tourism Operations Officer. From the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, we have with us Mr. Lawrence Charles E. Salazar, the Assistant Chief of the Policy Plan Formulation and Programming Division of the Head of the Cultural Heritage Section. From the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, we have with us Ms. Christine Donuan, Senior History Researcher and Architect Maria Luisa Valerio. From the Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority or TIEZA, we have with us Attorney Maria Salve Aure M. Carillo, Attorney 3 of the Legal Services Division, Legal Department. From the Department of Energy, we have with us Attorney Don G. Villanueva, the Chief of the Renewable Energy Legal Services Division. For our local chief executives or mayors, we have with us the representative from Paracelis Mountain Province, Attorney Christian Van Talawek, the Municipal Administrator. We also have with us Mayor Darwin C. Estraniero of Tabuk City, Kalinga. From the Office of the City Mayor of Baguio, we have with us Councilor Filian Luis Alan, Councilor Maria Mylan Geranon, and Councilor Francisco Ted. From the Labason, Zamboanga del Norte Local Government, we have with us Mr. Herbon Abaya, the OIC Sangguniang Bayan Secretary, and Principal Cherry Ampayo Labason of Principal Cheryl Amplayo Labo of Bason. From the local government of San Vicente, Ilocos Sur, we have with us Mayor Jose Cita Abante III. From the local government of Cebuco, Zamboanga del Norte, the office of the mayor is represented by Engineer Ricardo L. Genturales, the Municipal Planning and Development Coordinator, Mr. Walter Navarro, and Principal Ayang Arifin of Cebuco National High School. From the local government of Cagayan de Oro City, Misamis Oriental, we have with us Mr. Hilarion N. Bacli, City Local Environment and Natural Resources Office. And for our other stakeholders, we have with us from Phil Hydro Association, Ms. Gertrude Trixie Roque and Attorney Alvin Balagbag. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We also recognize the presence of Senator Nancy Binay. I saw Senator Binay present earlier. So we have a full schedule today. We will be tackling 21 local bills with the indulgence and permission of Kong Rufus and Deputy Speaker DV. We will talk about the heritage zones at the end of the school bills because this needs a little bit of a discussion. So with your permission and your indulgence from Kong Rufus and Deputy Speaker DV Sevliano, we will talk about the two heritage zones at the end. So you can relax first, Kong Rufus. Baka mag-breakfast muna ho kayo or mag-gym muna. And then I think we'll take probably an hour and a half to 2 hours to talk about all of the schools. The schools naman are ministerial in nature. We're just going to talk about its completeness in terms of documentation and requirements. But it should be ministerial in nature. We just want to put it on record. So with that, we can probably talk about the heritage zone around 11 o'clock. Kong Rufus and Deputy Speaker DV. So mag-relax muna ho kayo so that you won't stay online for a long time. So with that, we'll start off with renaming of schools because this is the easiest among the local school bills. So we'll now tackle House Bill 7769. This is the renaming of San Manuel National High School, and we want to call on House Bill 7769. Let me just read the title: An Act changing the name of San Manuel High School in Barangay San Manuel, City of San Jose del Monte, Province of Bulacan, to San Manuel National High School. So with that, we'll call on Congresswoman Robes to sponsor the bill, and then later on we'll call upon the regional director, and then later on DepEd National. So we just want to go through this quite quickly. We'll start off with the sponsoring legislator so that we'll have full appreciation of the intent of the bill. So we call on Congresswoman Rida Robes.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, our fellow colleagues in Congress, and of course, our dear friends in the Senate. Seeing this bill pass the floors of our Congress in itself an achievement. More so that I am in front of this August Halls presenting to you a bill that would cement an institution for the youth, the teachers, as well as the non-teaching teacher, as well as the non-teaching personnel of San Manuel. This House Bill number 7769 is not simply about a change in the name of a public school, but to provide our high schoolers an institution that would forever be a monument of a learning institution in our city. And let us all remember that our population mostly are relocatives from the National Capital Region and other parts of the country. whom we all wanted to house and give hope. This bill, when you, my dear colleagues, would pass it into a Republic Act, would further strengthen the will of our people in uplifting their lives, continue our sustainability through good education, and further our enthusiasm in keeping our city a rising city. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat, and I'm earnestly requesting for the passage of this bill. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Kong Rida. We now call on the Regional Director, Dr. May Teclar.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, and to everyone. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Mr. Chair, may I please be allowed to give a brief backgrounder, an explanation to the support of the Department of Education Region 3 on the matter of the proposed HB number 7769 introduced by Honorable Florida Robes and Honorable Romanti Romulo. San Manuel High School is located at the city of San Jose del Monte, Bulacan under DepEd Region 3. For DepEd's old record, San Manuel High School, which offers regular high school offering grade 7 to 10, was established in May 2014. For fiscal year 2020 to 2021, it has an enrollment of 590 with a total teacher requirement of 28. However, based on teacher inventory of the said school, only one teacher has a plantilla item in San Manuel National High School. 14 are borrowed teachers from other schools funded by the Special Education Fund. Through a city ordinance number 2020-050-10 and in compliance with the provisions of DepEd Order number 29, series of 2011, which is consistent with letter E and F of section 13 of the Local Government Code, and I quote, renaming of a public school shall be made only upon the recommendation of the local school board concerned, while those of public hospitals or health centers and other health facilities shall be made by the local health board concerned, unquote. San Manuel High School was renamed San Manuel National High School on October 19, 2020. And DepEd Region 3 approved its renaming and changed the name of San Manuel High School in the DepEd's Basic Education Information System to San Manuel National High School with school ID 307514 in December or on December 16, 2020. However, further scrutiny of the submitted city ordinance to the DepEd Regional Office 3, it was found out that there is a specific provision under Section 3 of said ordinance which provides that, and I quote, this ordinance shall take effect upon legislative approval, unquote. Therefore, based on the cited premise, DepEd Region 3 interposes no objection on the renaming of San Manuel High School to San Manuel National High School. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat.
Maybe also,
Sir, liaison pa lang po. Sir, liaison pa lang po yun dyan. Hindi pa po sila nakapain.
maybe here, Hazel will be represented DepEd National.
Sir, as of now po, hindi pa po nakalagin yung director natin. We're still waiting po for them.
Bakit sila late?
Kinontak ko na rin po, sir, para po pumasok na po sila. Pero their liaison officers po, such as servants po from DepEd, is already logged in. They're monitoring na po. But yung director po who will be speaking for DepEd Central Office, hindi pa po nakalog in.
Yeah, but 9:20 na. And then we have 21 bills to talk about. So they should be on time. We told them in advance to be on time because we have a lot of things to talk about.
Yes, po, sir.
Who can speak in behalf of DepEd National.
Mr. Chair, probably we could call on Yusek Ton Somali. I'm going to try to call him so who could give us an insight about this bill. Hold on, Mr. Chair.
Chair? Mr. Chair?
Yes, yes, Senator Nancy.
Siguro para hindi ma-delay yung discussion natin, baka pwede isang ano na lang, kumbaga isang opinion na lang from DepEd National on all the renaming of bills. Yung mga renaming of schools habang wala pa sila.
Sir, paano kung bababa na lang kita? Kusog ang reception sa Sa signal.
Vince
Opo,
Taon.
sayang.
Vince of
Yung internet namin sa office ko.
Saan ka dyan po si
Paggabi po, ay kahapon po, okay po siya. Ayun po, walang internet yung globe.
Saan tayo pwede?
Mr. Vince Panaon of
Oo, sayang. Sayang, dili kita saan kanila, participate. Dili kita makapati.
Pwede sir, may nakatable po yun. Ito natin yan mga Google.
Since we're still waiting for DepEd National, Congrida, with your permission, we'll just call on the other schools, and then we'll accede to the suggestion of Senator Binay to have a blanket reaction na lang later when DepEd comes in, because we requested DepEd to certify on the completeness, so that on record we will have DepEd National certifying the completeness of its requirements. So with your kind indulgence, we're already contacting DepEd National to participate ASAP. Let's give them a few minutes lang po.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I agree with that, and I'd like to manifest my motion that I agree also with Senator Nancy. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you, Frida. We now call on. We will now tackle House Bill 7998. The title is an act changing the name of Paracelis National High School, Barangay Poblacion, Municipality of Paracelis, Mountain Province, to Serapio Gawan National High School. So we call on Congressman Maximo Dalag Jr. to sponsor the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me po? Mr. Chair.
Yes po, you're coming in late. Pakilakas lang po yung volume. Sir?
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
We can hear you, but very soft po. Barely. We can barely hear you. But can you make your volume louder?
Yes po, sir. Sorry, Mr. Chair. Sorry po. Now, Mr. Chair.
Pwede na po. Lakasan nyo na lang po yung boses o ninyo. Kong?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Hello? Sorry, Mr. Chair. And to Senator Nancy Binay, Senator Amy Marcos, my fellow colleagues, this House bill is to change the name of Paracelis National High School to Serapio Gawan National High School. Serapio Gawan is the donor of the lot where the Paraceles National High School is permanently located. And in recognition of Mr. Gawan's generosity, altruism, and his priceless contribution to the education of the people of eastern part of Mountain Province, particularly the municipality of Paraceles, it is but proper to change the name of Paraceles National High School to Serapio Gawan National High School. In addition to the renaming of the school, it will give a sense of history and significance. In view of the foregoing, approval of the bill is earnestly sought, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Kong. We are also calling on the regional director, Estela Carino. Ma'am.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair. So this is Estela Carino from DepEdCar. The school existed as Paraceles National High School for years, and the only document that we have been waiting for had already arrived, and so we have this as our recommendation. So DepEdCar interposes no objection to the renaming of Paraceles National High School into Serapio Gawan National High School. However, it is recommended that the old name, which has been sanctified by usage by the residents of the community, be placed underneath the new name in the signage. Otherwise, we recommend for the use or approval of the said bill, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. To Senator Binay and Senator Marcos, any questions? Kung wala naman po, and to Kong Dalog, again, we apologize for we have to defer the approval of this for now. We're still waiting for DepEd National to join in, no? But because as a matter of process, DepEd National will certify on the completeness. But we're already reaching out to them to join in the hearing. So we'll just give it a few minutes.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, dito na pala ho. Si Yusek Omali is ready with us to manifest DepEd's National's position on the two renaming of schools. So we recognize Yusek Omali. Yusek? Yusek Omali? Sige po, he's still joining. So while joining, we'll go to the separation of schools. This is the second batch.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Just for clarification, with this renaming, yung sa San Jose del Monte, parang meron siyang cost implication, di ba? It's not just simple renaming compared to the one sa Paraceles. Tama po ba?
May we request either Kong Rida or the regional director to respond to the questions?
First, I'd like to say that there is actually an implication in terms of cost, kasi nga po, but there are a lot of teachers who are borrowed from various schools also. So it may add actually on that, pero yung mga teachers sumisweldo talaga sila in not in their proper venue. So yung hiraman, kasi nga wala talaga siyang, although merong item, pero talagang wala siyang space na sinasabi natin sa edukasyon. So renaming the school, meron siyang actually school ID number, so mapupondohan naman siya. Kaya lang kulang pa rin talaga pagdating sa teacher's item. A little of it, pagdating sa mga GAA sa mga susunod na panahon. I think RD May would answer it more and better. And yung Sector sumalis with us kasi I have consulted these things to them. At yung plantilla position, isa nga lang talaga. So mag-a-add talaga. Unlike before na noon talaga puro borrowed yung teachers, principal, hiniram sa ibang schools. Pero once na ito ay maging okay, through a legislative approval, kasi city ordinance lang siya, I think everything will be okay in terms of allocations. Kasi nasa GAA naman siya because of the school ID. I don't know if I'm right, but I think this is the proper thing that I have said. Meron siyang school ID 3075-14. Pag may school ID kasi, automatic nalalagyan ng pondo. Kaya lang, maliit lang. Pero ngayon, dahil may legislative approval na tayo, if ever, mas mabibigyan nito ng pansin.
Yeah.
Sen Nancy?
Na isa lang ang plantilla position doon sa eskwelahan. Alam naman natin sa laki ng population ng San Jose del Monte at hindi naman ito kumbaga first class na ata ang San Jose del Monte, 'di ba?
Yes.
Classification for you to have a school na isa lang ang plantilla position talagang parang hindi ka tanggap-tanggap. Kaya Mr. Chair, I support that aside from the renaming, kung kailangan ng additional funding for this school, I think we should make sure in the next budget season, talagang mabigyan ng kaukulang pondo itong National High School na ito. Yun lang po, Mr. Chairman, and salamat, Congressman Robes.
Thank you, Senator Nancy. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Actually, hindi lang, Sen Nancy, hindi lang to first-class city. Pwede na highly urbanized city to. Mas malaki na kaysa sa Valenzuela ang San Jose.
Yes, and our mentor is your brother. Alam mo naman yan ever since. Basta yung Dagatsalyan really works with art. Talagang they're best friends in terms of progress, lahat ng pwede. And at the same time, I'd like to thank, of course, yung NHA family na talagang pushing on this kasi yung area talaga ng San Manuel High School ay talaga nakatabi ang mga inilipat ng ating NHA family nung araw pa hanggang sa ngayon. So with this, maraming salamat, Mr. Chair, and of course, Senator Nancy, Senator Amy is here. Oh, nandito na pala si Yusek Tons, ang katulong po ng mga mahihirap sa lungsod ng San Jose.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yes, pero dun sa yung kay Congressman Dalog, simple renaming lang, no? Kasi National High School na siya eh. Tama po ba?
Ma'am, yes po.
Akong Dalog and or Ma'am Carino, you may respond.
Yeah, sorry you don't get the bulk this time.
Yes, kung dalog natin. Yes, Mr. Chair, I would understand it as the school, which is a big school and with enough personnel as of now, and with buildings. The school will remain in its main campus, which is located in Barangay Poblacion, Municipality of Paraceles. And as of the time I went, which is just a few months ago, the school is with enough buildings and enough personnel. So the need for an increase in its fund allotment would be necessary if there will be increase in enrollment or additional buildings. But as of now, the school is all right with its allocation, Mr. Chair. Your Honor. Akong Dalog, please.
Thank you. Thank you po.
Thank you. So we call on Yusek Omali to certify on the completeness of House Bill 7769. This is the renaming of school in San Jose del Monte. Yusek?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do certify and confirm that it has satisfied all the requirements provided under our DepEd Order number 40 series of 2014, which is the applicable DepEd issuance on the matter. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, humingi po ako ng paumanin, Mr. Chair. Nagkaroon po meron po kami po dapat na a-attend na iba. We apologize, Mr. Chair, kung wala po sa central office na nakadalo po kaagad. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Yusek. And also, the next one is on House Bill 7998. The same thing on its completeness.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We confirm, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Yusek. Now we go on the next batch, which is the separation of schools, and we will now tackle House Bill number 5363, an act separating the Lawa National High School, Nueva Villa Extension in Barangay Lawa, Municipality of Marcelino, Province of Davao Occidental, from the Lawa National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Corona A. Cabanilla National High School, and appropriating funds therefore. So we call on Representative.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Sorry, at the risk of interrupting your flow, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to know if you needed an omnibus motion for both renaming of schools, given that we extend our full support to my party mate and co-Cordillera Maxi Dalog, as well as Rida Robes, which clearly her crowded situation was very much our fault, my parents having sent so many people to San Jose back in the 70s through the 80s at masipag sila, mga anak ng mga anak. So eto nga. So I'd just like to move with that since DepEd has already certified its completion that we pass these bills from the lower house. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I mean, for reminding me. With that, I apologize for forgetting to approve the endorsement. So with that motion, any second, Senator Nancy?
Ken.
With that motion, seconded by Senator Nancy, we now approve House Bill 7769 and House Bill 7998.
Ay, salamat. Pwede kayong malis.
Mr. Chair, pwede po ako magpasalamat in 1 minute. Maraming salamat po sa lahat-lahat. At syempre, I'm pretty sure lahat po ng 590 na kaguruan ng San Manuel National High School ay masayang-masaya ngayong araw na ito. Congratulations po sa ating lahat, and thank you po for giving this very good break to our district. Senator Nancy, Senator Amy, and of course, Senator Win Gatchalian. God bless you all, and to our fellow colleagues in Congress. Mabuhay po tayo. Thank you.
Thank you, Kong Rida. And regards kay Art.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, matutuwa yun.
I think yung mga tapos na, they can be excused from the
Ano you can be excused na?
hearing.
Yes, definitely.
Ayan, Kong Max.
Thank you again from Senator. Thank you from Mayor Art. Thank you.
So we now call on Congresswoman Lorna Bautista Bandigan.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. And to my colleagues in Congress, especially. Mr. Chair, I would like to manifest actually, Mr. Chair, I have actually 5, there are 4 more bills to be tackled this morning. And pwede bang, Mr. Chair, i-ano ko na lahat? Can I ask permission to that? Hello, Mr. Chair?
Ma'am, sorry po.
Hello? Actually, Mr. Chair, may 4 pa ako.
Okay.
Sunod-sunod. In the category nitong separation, yung separation.
Okay.
Pwede ko na bang basahin na lang po lahat?
Let me just read for the record those bills, and then you can make an omnibus sponsorship so we can cut
Yeah,
time.
please, Mr. Yes, Mr. Chair,
So,
please.
with your indulgence, ma'am, so that's House Bill 5363. And then we will now consider House Bill 5364. Let me just read the title. An act separating the Don Marcelino National High School, Dalupan Extension in Barangay Dalupan, Municipality of Don Marcelino, Province of Davao Occidental, from the Don Marcelino National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Ernesto Balindan Sumbo National High School, and appropriating funds therefore. And then we will also consider at the same time House Bill number 5365, an act separating the Mariano Peralta National High School, Sangay Extension in Barangays Sangay, Municipality of Malita, Province of Davao Occidental, from the Mariano Peralta National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Ernesto Lopez National High School, and appropriating funds therefore. And lastly, House Bill number 5367, an act separating the Basyawan National High School, Malabsom Extension in Barangay Buhangin, Municipality of Malita, Province of Davao Occidental, from the Basyawan National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Buhangin National High School, and appropriating funds therefore. So once again, we call on Representative Lorna Bautista Bantilla.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning again, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much for that favor. Mr. Chair, there's one more. The fifth and the last bill is specified under this.
Meron pa ba ho? I think, anong bill? Is that also in the separation, Kong?
I think in the establishment, I think, Mr. Chair.
Establishment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
establishment,
Kong,
I think, Mr. Chair.
we'll tackle the establishment later on. So we'll do away first with the separation.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And again, I would like to manifest that my explanatory note will serve as my sponsorship speech. And maraming salamat, Mr. Chair, and good day to everyone.
Yes, thank you, Kong Lorna. We'll insert your sponsorship speech into the records as part of your manifestation. But we, at the same time, will call on the different regional. Well, there's only one regional director. So we call on Dr. Alan Parnazo for his comments and manifestation.
Good morning to our honorable chair, Sharon Gatchalian, and members of the committee, and earlier with our very supportive Congresswoman Lorna Bautista Bandican, who I happened to pay my courtesy yesterday. And as a statement from DepEd Regional Office number 11, we strongly support and have provided information. In fact, as early as 2017, have already provided initial support in the establishment planning preparation for the school with a very committed local government unit and legislative sponsor. Therefore, we felt it a very strong coming of efforts and strong collaboration to also extend our unqualified support for the establishment of the said school, and our from the separation of the said school from its mother school. And thank you very much, Senator Will.
Thank you. Yusuf Komali, may we hear your manifestation on the completeness on the 4 bills that were mentioned?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We confirm satisfaction of our, again, DepEd Order number 40 series of 2014, specifically item 6A, point 2 of that, with respect to the requirements on the separation of schools. House Bill numbers 5363, 5364, 5365, and 5367 have all satisfied our requirements under said DO, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much po. Hello po. Apo.
Thank you, Yusek. Thank you for your manifestation. And before we make an omnibus motion, Senator Nancy, let's complete first the separation so that we will have one big omnibus motion later on. So we are now we're now tackling House Bill 7992, an act separating the Nanning National High School, Mosimos Extension in Barangay Dupag, City of Tabuk, Province of Kalinga from Nanning National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Dupag National High School and appropriating funds therefore. So we call on Representative Allen Jesse Mangawang.
I think Congressman Jesse's not around, but may I just sponsor on his behalf, being his counterpart in the Senate?
Apparently, he's already online.
Okay. All right.
Apparently, but let me again call on Rep. Manawang. Kong Allen. Sen Ivy, he was here earlier, no? So actually he's here.
Very good. Okay, this seems to be your Cordillera Day. Ang dami namin taga Norte.
Ilocano.
He's here.
Yeah, he's here po.
Very good, very good.
Allen.
Yes, sir. Sumadraft ko siya. Parang dito na.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes?
Habang may connection issue si Kong, baka we can move muna to the next school?
Sige. Yeah, we'll do that. Also, we save time. But he's here. He's logged in and he's chatting with our staff. We'll just fix his technical issues. So we will now consider House Bill 7994, an act separating the Baguio City National High School, Fort del Pilar Annex in Barangay Fort del Pilar, Baguio City from Baguio City National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as the Fort del Pilar National High School and appropriating funds therefore. So I can see Kong Marco here with us. Kong, good morning.
Mr. Chair, I would like to sponsor these 2 bills, if I may be allowed, instead of just one. And where can you hear me?
Yeah, there are 2 bills pala, no? Let me read the other one. That's House Bill 7995, an act separating the Baguio City National High School, Hillside Annex in Barangay Hillside, Baguio City from the Baguio City National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as the Hillside National High School and appropriating funds therefore. So we have 2 bills on hand. Kong Mark.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Senator Win Gatchalian, Senator Jaime Marcos, Senator Nancy Binay, our Deputy Speaker Rufus Rodriguez, Deputy Speaker Wes Gatchalian, Kong Rida Robes, Kong DB Sabillano, our councilors from the city of Baguio, Councilor Mylene Ranon, Councilor Pacoy Ortega, Secretary, Undersecretary Tomasito Umali, our Regional Director of CAR, Stella Carino, other resource persons, friends, ladies and gentlemen, magandang umaga po sa lahat. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, enrollment at the Baguio City National High School has reached the 9,000 mark. In order to cater to more than 9,000 students from all over the city of Baguio, several facilities of high schools were augmented with two school annexes, one of which is the Port del Pilar Annex, located at about 10 kilometers away from the mother school. The Port del Pilar Annex caters to more than 900 students and operates with one functional library and 16 classrooms housed at 5 buildings. However, 6 of these classrooms and 2 of these buildings are actually just makeshift. The main campus and the annexes are governed by the same administrative personnel, and the teachers in the annex school is basically borrowed from the mother high school. As we look forward to the end of this pandemic and to bringing our learners back to school, this representation is hopeful that through this bill, we can cater to more students from their surrounding neighborhoods without sacrificing the quality of education received by the students and the learning atmosphere that should facilitate efficient transfer, absorption, and retention of knowledge. By converting the Fort del Pilar Annex to an independent national high school, students from surrounding barangays would be given better access to a national high school, and the mother school, as well as other overly populated schools in Baguio, would be relieved of the undue burden. The conversion, therefore, would also decentralize leadership, management, and supervision of the school, thereby facilitating more efficient services to the public. It would allow also the former annex to manage its own MOOE and establish its own plantilla of personnel for ease of managing staff as an independent school. As we have learned from the ongoing pandemic, an overly cramped environment is a hotbed for infections and other contagious diseases. And we want to be able to keep our learners safe. And when the time comes that we can allow face-to-face learning, we want to raise the confidence of parents in sending their children to school, knowing that they are returning to safe spaces. Apart from the physical facilities, very important that the Fort del Pilar Annex, as an independent high school, is able to actually hire competent faculty members and establish student-teacher ratio more conducive to learning, either by face-to-face or distance learning modalities. As Baguio City's population balloons continuously, being an educational and commercial hub in Northern Luzon, I implore upon my fellow legislators to help ensure that the high schoolers of Baguio continue to receive quality and accessible education. Hence, approval of this bill is earnestly requested. I also would like to ask for the approval of this committee on the conversion of the school annex, Hillside Annex, as a regular high school here in the city of Baguio. If we note here, Hillside Annex is about 3 kilometers away from the mother school and operate with a 1 functional library and 5 classrooms and only 9 teachers, with 772 students. Similarly, the Fort del Pilar Annex, the teachers at the Hillside Annex are merely borrowed from the mother high school and with limited facilities and teacher items, catering to more students and ensuring that the learning and welfare of the students is uncompromised, is a real struggle for this small annex. But this representation knows that the annex at Hillside, as well as with the Fort del Pilar, has such genuine potential for growth and excellence if only be given sufficient support as an independent high school. Hence, approval of this bill is also earnestly sought. Thank you very much at magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, and I mean,
Yes. Yes, I filed a counterpart bill for Congressman Mark Go's conversion bills, and it's Senate Bill 1610, so we can tick that off our agenda. And truly, given the challenges posed by the mountain landscape of the Cordillera, the robust internet that we have been counting on has never taken place, and the expansion, therefore, of these schools is urgently requested. Thank you very much.
on Miss Estela Carino again for her manifestation on the two bills.
Good morning again, Mr. Chair, and good morning also to our good congressman. So as stated by Congressman Go for Fort Del Pilar Annex, the annex of Baguio City, it had existed already for many years. Actually, the first year of existence is in 1968, and it caters not only to the barangays sitios of Baguio City, but it also caters to the barangays located at Orluacan, which are parts of Benguet. And as to the submission of some documents, they have already submitted all the documents, and we are just waiting for one, but it is to be submitted. But as to the existence of teachers and school buildings, Congressman Go and I went to the new site, and it is really high time that it will be separated so that it will go to its new site and then thereby serve many students. The existing teachers of Fort Del Pilar Annex, since they have been there and may not be utilized by Baguio City main, may still be with Fort Del Pilar school, high school, even if it will be separated. So as to budget, of course, there will be some needs, but it will be more of the buildings. So DepEdCar interposes no objection for the separation of Fort Del Pilar Annex from Baguio City National High School main for better quality of education. For Hillside was established in 2010 as an annex also of Baguio City National High School, but with its few years of existence, the enrollment already increased, and there are also permanent teachers assigned already in Hillside Annex, which may still be with Hillside National High School once it is separated, since Baguio City National High School has enough teachers by then. So with buildings, it has also existing buildings, but of course funds will be needed when the enrollment will also increase. So once again, DepEdCar interposes no objection for the separation of Hillside Annex and be named Hillside National High School Annex for better quality of education. Mr. Chair, Your Honors.
Mr. Chair, just an added information, Mr. Chair, on Fort Del Pilar National High School. Before the last month, we went to PMA and talked with the superintendent of PMA together with the other officials of DepEd, and we were given an area about 2 hectares for the Port del Pilar National High School. Right now, the school is actually within the property of PMA, and the students are entering PMA through the main gate, and this affected to a certain degree the accessibility of the school to other students coming from outside PMA. With this, the PMA management, together with the Secretary of National Defense, had given the go signal to give 2 hectares of land for the Fort del Pilar National High School. And this is one item that we would like to include in our budget next year for the construction of the different infrastructure for this national high school, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Kong Mark. We now call on Yusek Omali to certify the completeness of those 2 measures.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we can certify the satisfaction of the requirements provided under DO number 40, series of 2013. And I would like to add under parts 6, A2, and B2, Mr. Chair, where all the documentary requirements are enumerated for House Bill number 7992 and 7994. May I also share, with the permission of the Chair, Mr. Chair, that natutuwa po kami sa totoo po lamang, Mr. Chair, mga panukalang batas na naglalayong ihiwalay at gumawa ng independent school mula po sa mga kasalukuyang annexes po natin, school annexes, basta masatisfy lamang po nga yung mga requirements na amin pong itinakda dun sa ating DepEd order na nabanggit. Dahil po ang polisiya po ng DepEd, Mr. Chair, in fact, is not to add any more school annexes, Mr. Chair. We only create new schools if we find it necessary. And for all these school annexes existing nationwide, basta nga po masatisfy lamang yung requirements, ang talagang pangarap po natin, Mr. Chair, ay ang mga school annexes na ito ay maging independent schools. And for that, we commend our Congo and all the authors of all these various bills seeking to separate school annexes to establish as an independent school. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Yusek. Thank you very much for that manifestation. We will now consider.
Chairman? Mr. Chairman?
Nancy?
Hindi, tanong lang kay Yusek Omali because I think yung ibang subject for approval today would involve yung construction of new buildings. Yung DepEd Central ba, may ginagawa ng new design to make our schools COVID compliant or may ganung ba? Well, di ba, magiging bahagi na to dun sa paghahanda natin sa new normal. And I think nabanggit din ni Congressman Mark kanina na yung nai-envision nila na magiging school building would para magiging compliant na against COVID. So, may policy direction ba from DepEd Central to design buildings?
Opo. May pag-uusap na pong nangyayari, Mr. Chair, Senator Nancy, mayroon po. Pero kung mayroon na pong eksaktong struktura na, ay kailangan ko pong i-vet ito. Pero ang masisiguro ko po sa inyo, Mr. Chair, Senator Nancy, yung ating pong bagong struktura naman ay compliant with respect to the present challenges that we face in terms of building structures that can withstand typhoon with a speed of equivalent to signal number 4 and number 5. Nabago na po natin yan at pati po yung typhoon intensity or magnitude. Pero yung sa COVID, Mr. Chair, i-vet ko po at ibigay po ako ng feedback kaagad sa inyo, Mr. Chair, Senator Nancy, kung natapos na po yun.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Nancy. Before we move on to the other bill, let's call on Congressman Mangawang again.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, I was called by Congressman Mangawang. He can see us, he can hear us, but he cannot go through the line. So he asked me to sponsor his bill, and if I may be allowed, I will present House Bill 7992, Mr. Chair.
Mark, with your kind indulgence and understanding, if that is the case, we'll finish first with the congressmen who are present here, because I can see a lot of congressmen who are present here, and then we'll go back again to House Bill 7992.
Okay, Mr. Chair, thank you. Thank you.
We now call on. We will now consider House Bill 8239, an act separating the Santo Rosario Elementary School, Santos Encarnacion Elementary School Extension in Barangay Dalandanan, Valenzuela City, Metro Manila, from the Santo Rosario Elementary School, converting it into an independent elementary school to be known as Santos Encarnacion Elementary School and appropriating funds therefore. And at the same time, we will also consider House Bill number 8240, an act separating the BALITA Elementary School, Pinalagad Annex into Sitio, Pinalagad, in Sitio Pinalagad, Barangay Malinta, Valenzuela City, Metro Manila, from the Malinta Elementary School, converting it into an independent elementary school to be known as Pinalagad Elementary School and appropriating funds therefore. So we call on Congressman Wesley Gatchalian. Mas gwapo ho to sa akin ng ilang paligo.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair, and good morning, Senator Amy, Senator Nancy, and to the rest of my colleagues. Likewise to, I can see Mr. Militon Zorbano, our Deputy Superintendent. Good morning, sir. Mr. Chair, I would like to register my explanatory note to be my sponsorship speech. Basically, House Bill 2314 is just separate Rosario. And likewise, House Bill 6142 seeks to separate Pinalagad
Can you repeat from the beginning because you disappeared?
Well, Mr. Chair, this bill just seeks to separate Santos Encarnacion to Santo Rosario Elementary School. That's House Bill 2314. And likewise for House Bill 6142, this seeks to separate Pinalagad Annex to the mother school, which is Malinta Elementary School. And I would like to move that my explanatory note be registered as my sponsorship speech, Mr. Chair. And likewise seeking for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. And then now we call on the Regional Director, Dr. Malcolm Garma.
Mr. Chair, if I be recognized, I represent RD Malcolm Garma. I'm Jennifer Bibas, Chief of the Quality Assurance Division. Good morning to the honorable members of the Committee of Basic Arts and Culture. With regards to two schools in Venezuela, the Pinalagad and the Santos Encarnacion Elementary School, the NCR interposes no objection to the conversion of these two schools. With regards to the documentary requirements in our DepEd 40 series of 2014, both of the schools have complied with all these requirements.
We call on Yusek Omali.
We confirm, Mr. Chair, House Bill numbers 8239 and 8240 satisfying the requirements provided under the O number 40 series of 2014. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
po, Congress.
Thank you. We now go back to House Bill 7994. I know Awang has been trying to connect on and off siya eh. He was here, he can chat with our staff. He actually reached out to our ComSec, but he's on and off. So I think Congressman Mark Go took over as his sponsoring legislator. Kong Mark?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would like to sponsor the the bill of Congressman Mangawang. This is House Bill 7992, an act separating the Naneng National High School, Mosimos Extension in Barangay Dupag, City of Tabuk, Province of Kalinga from Naneng National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Dupag National High School and appropriating funds therefore. Mr. Chair, I move that the explanatory note of House Bill 7992 be considered as the sponsorship message of Congressman Allen Mangawang, Mr. Chair. I so move.
Thank you, Kong Mark. And again, we call on Regional Director Carino for his manifestation.
Morning again, Mr. Chair. As for House Bill 7992, which is the separation of Naneng National High School, Musimos Annex, which will be known as Dupag National High School. Again, the school was established as an annex in June 2011, and it has been under the supervision of the main school. And this separation of this annex is sought again for the sake of the 156 learners as of now for better quality education. Based from the documents that I have, they have satisfactorily completed all the documents required under DepEd 40. So once again, DepEd CAR does not or supports the separation of Naneng Annex to be known as Dupag National High School. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. We call on Yusek Omali for the certification on completeness.
Yes, Mr. Chair, confirming what our RD Estelle Carino just manifested, HB 7992, satisfying our requirements under DO40. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Good. With that, may we now hear a motion to approve all the bills on the separating of various schools?
I herewith move that in an omnibus motion, all these bills separating and creating new schools, independent schools from the annexes so mentioned are hereby approved.
And
Thank you. Any second? Binay?
hello, second, Mr. Chairman.
With that motion duly seconded by Senator Binay, we now approve all the bills that were considered earlier, and this will be referred to plenary for its final approval. So thank you very much for your time, everyone.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Senator Jaime, Senator Binay, maraming
Same
salamat.
Amy, same Nancy.
so much
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Yes?
can we also handle House Bill 7996 as stipulated in the memo? Lunday National High School, this is from DepEd Region 9.
Yes, ma'am. I understand that Congressman Amatong has yet to join us today.
Okay. So I thought,
Wait for his presence.
okay, thank you po.
Mr.
Chair,
Who will sponsor the bill?
may be recognized, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I was, with prior permission from the committee, I was authorized po by Congressman Amatong to sponsor the bill for his behalf. Currently, he cannot attend the meeting because he's in Zamboanga del Norte where the internet connection is unstable and intermittent.
Can you identify yourself?
I am Victor Carlo Irene, the legislative staff of Congressman Isagani Amatong. I conferred with the committee beforehand in order to be able to speak for Congressman Amatong, Mr. Chair.
Require a legislator to sponsor the bill. No? Obviously, this is a bill, and we would like a legislator to sponsor the bill. No? We prefer the original sponsor to sponsor the bill, no? So that it will be put on record. But
Mr. Chair,
their congressmen to substitute. If any congressman would like to substitute for Kong Amatong.
Mr. Chair, if I may be allowed, I will sponsor the bill of Congressman Isagani Amatong.
Yes, go ahead, Congressman Mark.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for allowing me to sponsor the bill of Congressman Isagani Amatong. I so move that the explanatory note of House Bill 7996, an act separating the Cebuco National High School Lunday Annex in Barangay Lunday, Municipality of Cebuco, Province of Zamboanga del Norte, from the Cebuco National High School, converting it into an independent National High School to be known as Lunday National High School and appropriating funds therefore. I so move, Mr. Chair, that this explanatory note be adopted as the sponsorship message of Congressman Isagani Amatong. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Mark. We are now in consideration of House Bill 7996. We recognize the Regional Director, Dr. Isabelita Bores.
Thank you, and buenos dias, Mr. Chair, and all your honors, including, of course, Undersecretary Umali. This regional office is supportive of House Bill 7996. The fact that Lunday Annex has been in existence for 25 years, and it has gotten an enrollment of that will complete a junior high school of 228 with a complete set of teachers manning it. So this office is strongly recommending and is supportive of the passage of House Bill 7996. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Boris. Maybe Umali for the completeness.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Confirming again what our RD Bet Boris just manifested as to the compliance of the said House measure to our DepEd for order number 40, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Just for an orderly discussion, we'll request one of our senators to move for its approval. Senator Marcos.
Yes, with that, we move for the approval of the aforesaid bill, and it's taking up in plenary at the earliest possible opportunity.
Thank you.
I second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senators. We now approve House Bill 7996, and this bill will be further approved and deliberated in the plenary. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We now go on the conversion. We now consider House Bill 8132, an act converting the Sisogon Elementary School in Barangay Sisogon, Municipality of Matnog, Province of Sorsogon, into an integrated school to be known as Sisogon Integrated Schools, and appropriating funds therefore. We will defer first the consideration of House Bill 8132. We just need to clarify some matters. As to House Bill 7997 and House Bill 8237, both authored by Congressman Amatong, is there any representative who wants to sponsor the bill? Is Kong Mark still around? Kung wala, well, we'll reach out to Kong Mark, no? On this matter, but we'll defer this for now. And then may I request the office of Kong Amatong to reach out to Kong Mark so that we can consider your bill. So we go to the establishments of school. We now consider House Bill 4955, an act establishing a national junior high school in Barangay Punta, Baybay City, the province of Leyte, to be known as Punta Junior High School, and appropriating funds therefore. And we have a twin bill in the Senate. That's Senate Bill number 1567, an act establishing 1576, sorry. Establishing a national junior high school in Barangay Punta, Baybay City, province of Leyte, to be known as Punta Junior National School, and appropriating funds therefore, authored by Senator Marcos.
Yes.
By Senator Marcos. So we call on Congressman Carl Cari.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Good morning, Your Honors. I am Carl Nicolas Cari of the 5th District of Leyte, the author of House Bill 4955. Punta National High School's establishment seeks to address the lack of national high school in neighboring barangays. Children travel 6 to 8 kilometers per school day to Baybay National High School for the most prolonged period to pursue secondary education. The travel has led to incurred travel and food expenses and to expose them to safety and health risks that may be remedied by the establishment of the national high school closer to them, thus allowing them to free themselves from illiteracy and to improve their social and economic status without compromising their safety and well-being, Your Honors.
Thank you. Senator Amy, any sponsoring
Yes, thank you very much. And I'd like to support Representative Kari. Matanda na tayo, Chairman. Yung nanay niya, yung nanay at yung lolo, yung tatay at yung lolo na niya ang ating classmate. Because of the burgeoning growth of Cebu, the outlying areas such as Baybay have seen an uptick in population growth that now require more schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ivy. We now call on Director Gemma Ledesma.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Kasi yung nakasulat po sa House Bill 4955, National Junior High School. I would like to motion to change the bill's title, Mr. Chair, and Act establishing a national high school, not junior high school, in Barangay Punta, Baybay City, Province of Leyte.
Okay. Okay. We'll take note of that and amend accordingly. We'll take note of that and amend accordingly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We call on Ms. Gemma Ledesma.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm Rita Ardimakiling, the Chief of the Quality Assurance Division of DepEd Region 8, representing the Regional Director, Maria Gemma Mercado Ledesma. So, good morning, Mr. Chair. First, I'd like to acknowledge the proponent of the House Bill number 4955 and House Bill number 1576, respectively, an act establishing a national high school or Punta National High School in Barangay Punta, Baybay City, Province of Leyte, to be known as Punta National High School. The regional office, Region 8, strongly support on the establishment of the said school, Punta National High School. We would like to inform Mr. Chair that the application documents were already submitted to the regional office and evaluated. However, we noted that there is still lacking document, the proof of ownership of the school site, which is the basic requirement for the approval of the regional director. And again, the DepEd Regional Office strongly support the establishment of Punta National High School and has no objection for the establishment of that school, provided that they can comply the only one requirement needed by the regional office for the approval of the regional director. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Once again, good morning.
Thank you, ma'am. We call on Yusek Omali for House Bill 4955.
Confirming again, Mr. Chair, compliance or satisfaction of House Bill 4995 with our DepEd Order number 40. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Yusek. We are now in consideration of House Bill 5328, an act establishing national high school in Barangay Talogoy Municipality of BALITA, Province of Davao Occidental, to be known as Tamaing Tribal National High School, and appropriating funds therefore. We recognize once again Representative Lorna Bautista Bandigan.
Hello, good morning again, Mr. Chair.
Hey, ma'am.
Okay, good morning. Sir, I would like to manifest again that my explanatory note will be my sponsorship speech. And again, thank you very much, very much.
We will insert your sponsorship speech into the records. We like to recognize Dr. Alan Farnazo, our Regional Director for Region 11.
Good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga ulit sa ating pinakamamahal na chair ng committee at saka ng ating Senator Wen Gatchalian at saka ng ating sponsor from the Lone District of Davao Occidental, Congresswoman Lorna Bautista Bandigan. It is an honor on the part of the Department of Education that our officials, especially in that part of the region, have identified areas, especially one that caters to the needs for education of our lumans. And this establishment of a school in this far-flung area of the municipality is an added feature of making education and access really reach the lists and the lasts in terms of the last mile schools priorities of our government. It is in this context that we join our voice to the effort of Congresswoman Lorna Bandigan in reaching the farthest and the lists and the schools in the category of the last mile schools. I'm sure education is not only something about literacy and numeracy. It is about improving lives. It is making informed choices and making them productive members of the community. We cannot do so less without making our efforts join the greater interests of making our learners learn. Hence, it is my distinct honor to join the effort of our distinguished sponsor for the establishment of the school in the farthest part of the municipality in the province of Davao Occidental. And I'm so honored to be sharing my statement of support for in behalf of the Department of Education Regional Office number 11, together with our men and women in the division of Davao Occidental, led by our Schools Division Superintendent Lorenzo Mendoza. Maraming salamat po, distinguished sponsor and honorable members of the committee and our chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Alan, and thank you very much for that very inspiring speech. It's refreshing and also truly inspiring to see DepEd and our legislators work together for the betterment of our students. Really need the whole of community approach from our legislators as well as our DepEd team to reach out to our students, especially in time of COVID. So thank you very much for that very inspiring speech. With that, we call on Yusek Umali.
Confirm everything, Mr. Chair. Compliance with our DepEd order. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Yusek. We now move on House Bill 82.
Mr. Chair.
Yes?
Sorry, I was cut earlier during my bill. Can I get an update regarding on it?
Yes, we will have an omnibus approval later on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We will now consider House Bill 8238, an act establishing a national high school in Barangay Marcos, Municipality of Santa, Province of Ilocos Sur, known as Santa National High School, and appropriating funds therefore. At the same time, we will also consider Senate Bill number 1392, an act establishing a national high school in Barangay Marcos, Municipality of Santa, Province of Ilocos Sur, to be known as Santa National High School, and appropriating funds therefore. Sponsored by Senator Marcos. Dapat talaga i-sponsor to. Dahil Barangay Marcos to eh.
Ako may-ari niyan.
Pagalitan ka, Amy. So, with that, Senator Marcos, any sponsorship speech before we call on Congresswoman Christine?
Yes, I'd like to extend support to Barangay Marcos in the historic town of Santa with the universally acknowledged heritage church. It is a distant and underserved barangay, as we know, and certainly a national high school is in order. Thank you.
With that, we call on Congresswoman Christine Singson Mihan.
Yes. Good morning to the chair, Senator Win, Senator Amy, Senator Nancy, and our Mayor of Santa Ilocos Sur is here with us today, Mayor Jesus Bueno. Thank you for considering House Bill 8238 and Senator Amy's Senate Bill 1392, a bill establishing the Santa National High School. The local government of Santa Ilocos Sur, through the leadership of its mayors and local Sangguniang, has through a resolution deemed it necessary to request the establishment of a public national high school at Barangay Marcos, which shall cater to students from 9 barangays. The establishment of the Santa National High School would greatly benefit the children in the municipality. To add a nationally funded high school would greatly boost primary education in the municipality and would assure our children and students that their access to quality education is still a priority of the government, even at this time of pandemic. I hope that with the help of the Senate Committee on Basic Education, Arts and Culture, chaired by Senator Win, Senator Amy Marcos, and the members of their honorable committee, the people of Santa would soon have their national high school at the very heart of their municipality. Thank you again, and thank you for being supportive of us and the honorable members of the committee.
Thank you. Thank you. We now call on Regional Director Tolentino Aquino. Sir Tolentino.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Good morning,
Yes.
Mr. Chair. I am Rhea Joy Carbonell, the Legal Officer of DepEd Region 1, representing Regional Director Tolentino Aquino. On behalf of DepEd Region 1, we would like to thank our representatives and Senator Amy Marcos for sponsoring the bill for the establishment of Santa National High School. After the conduct of the evaluation of documents and on-site validation of the Division and Regional Inspectorate team, DepEd Region 1 strongly supports the establishment of Santa National High School at Barangay Marcos, Santa Ilocos Sur. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We call on Yusek Omali for the completeness.
Yes, Mr. Chair. House Bill number 8238, Senate Bill 1392, seeking to establish Santa National High School in Ilocos Sur Province, Chair, found to be compliant with our DO number 4. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Yusek. With that, we have one more bill, but I understand that Congressman Del Monte is yet to join us. This is House Bill number 7993. No, and I understand he has yet to join us for today. So,
Okay. Ngayon.
So with that, we will defer until he joins us. We still have two more bills to tackle before we terminate this hearing. So we're reaching out to Congressman Belmonte as well as Congressman Amatong for their sponsoring to sponsor the bill. So with that, we'd like yes.
Yeah, sorry. Mr. Chair, if you'd allow, is this the establishment of the senior high school in Talipapa, QC?
Yes, yes.
Given that I have a counterpart Senate Bill 1660, perhaps we can dispose of the matter by my sponsoring on behalf of Congressman Del Monte the establishment of a senior high school in said barangay Talipapa. Their overcrowded situation is well known, and it is high time that high school should be located in every barangay. This seems to be one of the last barangays in the 5th district that until today is deprived of its very own senior high school po.
With that, we will consider the sponsorship of Senator Amy Marcos as the sponsorship speech for this said measure. So we're now in consideration of House Bill numbers 7993 and Senate Bill number 1660. And let me just read the title of the measure. An act establishing a senior high school in Barangay Talipapa, Quezon City, Metro Manila, to be known as Talipapa National High School, and appropriating funds therefore. So with that sponsorship speech, we'll record that into the records. We now call on Dr. Malcolm Garma, the Regional Director, to manifest their comments.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of Director Garma, I'm Jennifer Vivas, again, Chief of the Quality Assurance Division. We would like to thank Senator Amy Marcos for sponsoring the bill for Talipapa National High School to be established. And on behalf of the Regional Office, DepEd NCR, we likewise no objection to the establishment of Talipapa National High School. In August 2017, DepEd NCR issued Regional Order number 12, series of 2019, for its successful compliance of all the documentary requirements is in our DepEd number 51, series of 2015. Thank you very much.
With that, Yusek Amani.
Yes. Opo, Mr. Chair, confirming what our DepEd NCR representative just manifested, House Bill number 5328 and Senate Bill, House Bill 7993, Mr. Chair, and Senate Bill number 1660, satisfying our DepEd Order number 40, series of 2014. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Yusek. So with that, we have completed all the bills on establishing schools. So we'd like to hear a motion to approve.
May I move, Mr. Chair, that the requirements of the DepEd having been accomplished and the urgency and desire of the communities to establish these schools having been clarified, that we approve the measures discussed and send them to plenary for immediate discussion and debate. Thank you.
Thank you. Any second, Senator Nancy?
I second, Mr. Chairman.
With that, we approve all the measures on establishing new schools in different parts of the country, and we'll submit this to plenary for its final approval. With that, we can go back to the conversion of schools. And we are now in consideration of House Bill 8132. This is an act converting the Sisogon Elementary School in Barangay Sisogon, Municipality of Matnog, Province of Sorsogon, into an integrated school to be known as Sisogon Integrated School, appropriating funds therefore. And I understand that Congressman Kari will sponsor the measure.
Good morning again, Mr. Chair. In behalf of Kong Amatong and Kong Ditas Ramos, I would like to sponsor the bill 8132, Sisigon Integrated High School, and 8237, Osyo National Science High School, Zamboanga del Norte. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Kong Carl, let's tackle first House Bill 8132. This is by Congresswoman Ditas. Unfortunately, he's not here with us anymore. Kong Ditas is a party mate of mine in NPC, and she's one of the congressmen that I respect in our party, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But this is a legacy that she wants to leave behind, especially in her home province of Sorsogon. So thank you very much, Kong Carl, for sponsoring the said measure, so we can at least fulfill the legacy and the dream of Congresswoman Ditas Ramos. With that, I call on Regional Director Gilbert Sansad.
Your Honor, good morning. Sisigon Elementary School has started its operation in 1951, and it has complete curricular offering from kinder to grade 10. Approval of Sisigon Integrated School will not only benefit Barangay Sisigon but other adjacent barangays in Matnog District, Sorsogon Province. Mr. Chairman, Your Honor, with me is the Superintendent of Sorsogon Province, Jose Doncilio, and our Chief for Planning, Roy Banyas. As per record of this office, Sisigon Integrated School has substantial compliance to the requirements for the conversion of schools. In fact, it was granted government permit by this office. We therefore support and recommend for the approval of House Bill 8132. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Dr. Sadsad. We now call on Yusek Omali.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Confirming what our RD Gilbert just manifested, compliance of House Bill number 8132, Sisigon Integrated School in the province of Sorsogon, as complying with our DepEd order requirements on conversion of schools. Mr. Chair, we would like to manifest, maybe for the record, yung pagbubuo po ng integrated school ay isa rin pong pangarap ng DepEd. Pag sinabi po kasing integrated school, ay binibigyan po natin ng kakayanan ang paaralan na mag-offer ng buo pong basic education. At yun po ang nais natin. Elementarya, high school, sa isang lugar po lamang kung masasatisfy po ang ating requirements. That's the direction that we want to take. So we commend the authors of this measure. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Yusek. With that, we will now tackle two bills sponsored by Kong Amatong, and this is House Bill 7997, an act converting the Labason Central School in Barangay Lopok, Municipality of Labason, Province of Zamboanga del Norte, into an integrated school to be known as Labason Integrated School, and appropriating funds therefore. and House Bill 8237, converting the Siocon National High School in Barangay Poblacion, Municipality of Siocon, Province of Zamboanga del Norte into a National Science High School to be known as Siocon National Science High School and appropriating funds therefore. I understand that once again, Congressman Carl Cari will be the sponsor of the measure. Congressman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In behalf of Congressman Amatong, I would like to sponsor House Bill 8237. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And also Bill 7997.
7997, Labason Integrated High School.
Okay, thank you. With that, we call on Regional Director Dr. Isabelita Bores once again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and may I also thank Congressman Mark and now Congressman Cari for sponsoring the bill of my good Congressman Amatong. And may I also manifest the support of DepEd Region 9 in the entire congressional district of Congressman Amatong. This is the only high school which will give focus on science. We call now Siocon National Science High School for the whole of Zamboanga del Norte Congressional, 3rd Congressional District. In terms of its facilities, in terms of the teacher component, especially the preparation for our would-be science specialist teachers, and in terms of the enrollment, this will already qualify and this will truly serve the purpose for putting a specialization on science in that area of Zamboanga del Norte, the farthest, and I think I just used the word, the most critical area in Del Norte of Zamboanga. And on a parallel note, Mr. Chair, we are also supportive of Labason Integrated School, as this was also an offshoot of the good effort of Congressman Amatong, putting emphasis also on a textbook education, which we earlier, I think last year, also have successfully proposed and approved. So that, in summary, the Region 9 is supportive of the two House bills sponsored by Congressman Amatong and, of course, with Congressman Cari. Thank you.
Thank you, Bores. We call on you, Secretary, for the two measures.
Opo, Mr. Chair, confirming again compliance of House Bill numbers 8237 and 7997 with the DepEd Order number 40, requirements on conversion of schools. Lalo na po, Mr. Chair, if I may manifest yung conversion po ng Siocon National High School to Siocon National Science High School ay talagang dapat pong suportahan dahil po yung mandato ng ating saligang batas sa ilalim po ng Article 2, Section 17, not only giving emphasis and focus on education but also on science and technology. Nakalagay po doon bigyan ng prioridad at ang kagandahan po nito, Mr. Chair, hindi lamang po ito simpleng pagbibigay ng special science curriculum program dahil ito po ngayon ay gagawing National Science High School, mas mataas na level na programa po tulad po ng nasabi ng ating RD Beth, ang i-offer na po ngayon ng ating Siocon National Science High School. Galing din po, Mr. Chair, sa Labason Integrated School, ang dati pong nag-o-offer lamang ng mababang paaralan, napakaganda po. Ngayon, integrated school na ay mag-o-offer na rin po ng mataas na paaralan. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Yusek Kumali, for that manifestation. With that, we'd like to request Senator Amy for a motion.
Yes, we'd like to move at this juncture for the passage of the above bills, clearly having complied with the requirements established by the DepEd and deserving therefore to be forwarded to the plenary for immediate debate and discussion. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Binay?
I second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Binay. With that, we are now approving the bills on conversion of schools, and we will be endorsing the three bills for further deliberation and approval by the plenary. Thank you very much po, and congratulations. So with that, we will now move on the heritage.
Gracias.
Thank you. With the kind indulgence of Kong Rufus, we'll start off first with Ilocos Sur. Kong, this is House Bill 7927, an act establishing a heritage zone within the municipality of San Vicente, province of Ilocos Sur. And we call on Congressman, Deputy Speaker D.V. Savillano for his sponsorship.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. The Honorable I'm Marcos, the Honorable Senator Nancy Binay, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm very happy that the bill of my district will be discussed here in the Senate. And please, may I request that my explanatory note be just adopted para mas mabilis po.
Thank you, Kong. Kong, maybe request you to give us an overview of your tour and how this proposed measure can help the town of San Vicente and how it can help the province of Ilocos Sur as a whole. So may I request a brief overview of this bill and also the said town, because the said town is supposed to be the center of this heritage bill.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, when I was a governor, we declared our province as a heritage province of Ilocos Sur. So, pinaninindigan ko yan sa programa ko. So, it's not only being a heritage, but we have to conserve anything about our culture. Yun ang programa namin sa Ilocos. Sinusundan ko yung kay Senator Aimee. So anyway, Mr. Chair, San Vicente is in the boundary of Vigan. It's a part of Metro Vigan. And in San Vicente, it's a small town, but they have so many infrastructure, old houses. They have traditional crafts. They have craftsmen, artists, and they have also a pilgrimage church, yung San Vicente. And even the people of Abra and yung mga neighboring provinces, they go there every Tuesday to visit the Apo San Vicente, because they think na si Apo San Vicente is a powerful saint kasi siya lang yung may wings eh. So, Mr. Chair, what's happening now is there's so many infrastructure going on. Maraming nasisira mga buildings. Even the homeowners, hindi nila masyado ina-appreciate yung mga old houses nila. So, we have a program for the conservation and preservation of all the landmarks, old houses, crafts, etc. So, yun lang, Mr. Chair, and I think and Vigan, medyo marami na rin nagpupunta dyan, sikat na. So we have to link San Vicente na I think magandang gawin because hindi pa siya masyadong nagagalaw.
Yes. Mr. Chair, if I may add.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Chair, may I add in support of Congressman Savillano and our Deputy Speaker, indeed, San Vicente is deserving of the title Heritage Town. And despite its rich colonial architecture. The reality is, being a mere fifth-class municipality, it's unable to engender the funds or to raise the donations. So perhaps its naming as a heritage town will assist in the effort to develop it as an extension of Vigan City, which is now extremely crowded as a tourist spot nationwide and worldwide. So konting tulong siguro, dun lang sa pangalan man lang, baka yung San Vicente mabigyan ng konting halaga at karampatang pondo.
Thank you. Thank you, Sen. Aimee. We also have some resource persons to just
Mr. Chairman?
Senator Next.
Yeah, just for clarification, based dun sa title ng bill, it's not really naming San Vicente as a heritage town. Tama po ba? It's creating a heritage zone within the town. Tama po ba, Congressman DV?
Kong DV, nakamute po kayo.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, Senator Nancy, the National Museum and National Archives, they have already have done already a cultural mapping on the place, and they're really pushing for it as a heritage zone. In fact, the National Museum declared it also as a natural cultural property zone na. So we just need your support, and also we have also met with other agencies of government like the SUCs, the University of Northern Philippines, the PWH, the Nueva Segovia, and DepEd to formulate the conservation plans of the place already.
Congressman DV, ang recommendation ho ba is to declare the whole town of San Vicente or just a portion of the town?
Well, for the structures, it's in poblacion lang, but you know, it's just declaring just the town, just the structures. If you don't help also the traditional crafts, the craftsman, kasi yun po ang kabuhayan nila eh. So dapat magsama ho yan.
Okay. Thank you, Congressman DV. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We are also here. The mayor of San Vicente is also here with us. Mayor Tabanda, Jose Tabanda. We recognize Mayor Tabanda for any comments. Mayor Jose Tabanda. This is not here. We recognize the presence also of Mr. Jeremy Barnes of the National Museum of the Philippines.
Yes, good morning, Chair. On behalf of Director General Barnes, who's currently in Samar, I'm standing in for him. And his instruction was, and I fully support this, is to endorse without reservation for the consideration of the committee the support for this bill. We have been through exhaustive meetings before the House last year, and all our suggestions have been integrated beautifully into the House version. So therefore, we respectfully endorse for the committee's consideration the approval of this House bill. Thank you.
Can you, ma'am, can you respond to the question of Senator Binay?
Oh, okay. Yes, there.
No, because are we declaring the entire town as a heritage zone or just parts of the town?
Well, as Congressman Sevillano underscored earlier, there are properties there that have already been declared. So and so far as those properties are concerned, no, it is our position na they should be, as to the extent na meron kaming na-declare, then they should be part of the zone. I cannot specifically state yung breadth, no, or area, but within the as embraced ng house version na to, then and to the extent na meron kaming na-declare, then we propose na ma-integrate po siya sa his heritage zone na yon.
Mr. Chair and Senator Nancy, ito pong San Vicente, tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, napakaliit lang na bayan. Aanim lang yung barangay dyan at saka hindi barangay ng Quezon City po yan. Talagang maliliit na barangay lamang yan. And as I mentioned, it's a mere fifth class municipality that would need our support as part of the Vegan Heritage Zone for its proper development and even conservation po.
Mr. Chair, in addition to that,
yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, kasi yung San Vicente, in their barangays, meron sila yung mga bat, yung mga sa indigo nun. So, kailangan ma-preserve din natin yun kasi it's part of the culture. And in San Vicente, that's where yung Pasig Revolt also passed from Dingras dun sa bayan, dun sa probinsya po ni Senator Amy. So, kailangan nating maayos yun. And it passes in some barangays of San Vicente. And also in San Vicente, it's known as the furniture center of the North. Kasi doon talaga, almost all the households, gumagawa sila ng furniture making. Kaya gusto kong ini-include yung crafts because yun ang kabuhayan ng tao eh. If you're only declared yung mga churches, all the structures, parang hindi kulang po.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Senator Binay.
Mr. Chairman, I fully support this House bill, but siguro I don't know if there's a need to amend the bill and change it na instead of a heritage zone, why don't we declare the whole town of San Vicente as a heritage town?
Congressman DV, is that something that can be considered?
Sa akin lang po, okay lang po sa akin.
Di ba, Bibi, parang it will cover the whole town kasi katulad nga nung pagka sabi ni Sen Amy kanina, this is a small town, a fifth class, siguro pag dineclare na natin yung buong bayan, baka mas malaking assistance yung pwedeng ibigay.
Mas maganda po yun. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. We also would like to call on NCCA, the Executive Director, Al Ryan Alejandre. NCCA. Mayor. NCCA. How about,
Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Chair. This is Charles Salazar of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts in behalf of our Executive Director, Mr. Alrayan Alejandre. I believe Senator Binay was making a suggestion that to include the whole town, but the nature of the bill will also be different from what was originally intended because the declaration would be from heritage zone to a heritage town. As its current form, we actually support it because the bill is structured and is aligned already with the provisions of Republic Act 166. the scope of the zone would be subject to the identification of the municipal government through an enactment of an ordinance. So there's still some much leeway for the local government unit to determine the meets and bounds of the zone. And I think it's also in consideration of the needs of the stakeholders in the municipality, because there might be some limitations to which the zone might have to impose in order to preserve the structures that were earlier mentioned by Congressman Savellano, which were in fact last year declared by the National Museum as some were important cultural properties, the others were national cultural treasures.
To the NCCA representative, I think there's a need to clarify the meets and bounds, no? Whether in the law or through the IRR, because I'm reading the law right now and it does mention meets and so the common understanding are where is the zone, no? Is it only part of the town or is it the entire town? So in the law, it's only pertain to cultural properties or historical landmarks. But as to the area itself, it's not so clear where is the area. So with NCCA's comment earlier, is there a need to define it? Or is there a need to at least authorize the Sanggunian? Because here you're authorizing the Sanggunian or directing the Sanggunian to come up with a ordinance, no, to operationalize this. But do we need to specify that the ordinance should also specify the meets and bounds and put more detail?
Mr. Chair, with regards to the other similar bills, we've noticed that they have followed the common provision of giving the power to determine the meets and bounds through with the local government unit. But I think it would be also appreciated if the law can already state that the municipal ordinance should specify the meets and bounds of the heritage zone. When we say a heritage zone, it doesn't really cover the whole town, but it's only a specific area where significant clusters of buildings needs additional protection. Because as mentioned by Congressman Savellana, the individual declaration for specific buildings should also be coupled by an additional layer of protection through the heritage zone. And the reason why the local government unit is given that power, because at the level of the national cultural agencies, we cannot prescribe or provide the limits the height limits of certain structures within in a certain municipality. And that's an exclusive authority that is vested to the local government unit.
So in other words, Charles, the salient feature of the law is only revolves in two things. Number one is the declaration and the operationalization of that declaration. And number two, a possible funding from NCCA. Tama mo ba? These are
Yes, sir.
Important salient points, correct?
Yes, sir. That's why I think that's the reason why for the National Museum also on our part, as we have expressed when this was deliberated at in the House of Representatives, it's pretty much straightforward when it just provides that there will be a heritage zone subject to identification of the meets and bounds through a municipal ordinance and protection and funding.
Okay. The meets and bounds is very important because the overarching goal of the bill is to protect historical and cultural integrity of the area. So it's an added layer of protection, correct? No,
Yes, sir.
the protection is stricter in that sense. So I'm just thinking out loud. No, wouldn't a declaration of the entire town put the entire town into a um, very strict criteria of protection?
Yes, sir. In pragmatic sense, it's really not practical to declare the whole town to the whole municipality as part of a heritage zone because, of course, there are certain portions of the municipality that where certain forms of development may be allowed. So you restrict only relevant areas in the municipality that would have an impact or that would probably has bearing on the protection of the individual cultural properties within that cluster.
Senator Binay, any comments?
Mr. Chairman, kasi yung bill din nakasulat a heritage zone. So ang perception ko is parang isang area to dun sa municipality. Pero paano kunyari yung mga structure hindi dikit-dikit? Maybe it is part of 3 different barangays. Ano pa rin ba yun? Ang treatment din ba nun is 1 heritage zone or 3 different heritage zones? Kay Charles.
Senator Binay, as far as I can recall, and Congressman Savellano can confirm this, I recall that the significant buildings in San Vicente are in close proximity with each other. As far as I can remember, when Director General Barnes also convened a panel of experts last year where I was able to participate, the significant properties would revolve near the church in the main town area. So somehow it's easier for the municipal government to determine the extent of the heritage zone.
Pero Charles, pagkaintindi ko, hindi lang structural properties yung gustong ma-preserve with these heritage zones eh. Parang may intangibles din ata or parang may mga ganon na kailangan preserve that may not necessarily be within that cultural properties. So paano natin maka-capture yun? For example, yung pottery na nabanggit kanina ni Kong DV may be located away from the church. But we also want to protect that.
Ma'am, in the current definition of a heritage zone, it makes no mention of it being a contiguous area. No? So the way we can interpret it is that it doesn't necessarily have to be contiguous.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, Charles. Charles, I have a few more questions, but let's call on the other resource persons. Mayor Tabanda of San Vicente, represented by Christine Remular. Christine.
Administrator Christina Remular, and in support of the proposition of our Honorable Congressman D.P. Sabeliano, LGU San Vicente is in favor also declaring that San Vicente Longshore will be considered also as one of the heritage city near Metro Bigan. But there was a queries with regards to the title about the whole town of San Vicente, whether it will be called heritage town or a heritage zone. Majority of the historical properties are found in Poblacion San Vicente Longshore, like the first part of the parish church known as the Miraculous Church of the province of Ilocos Sur, where sick people come and make their promises or panata to our patron saint, and all were granted. And also, San Vicente is also known where there are famous sculptures in saints. Another is we have also the furniture making, wherein the old style of furnitures can be seen. Sir D.P. mentioned a while ago about also the handicrafts, furniture making. The second one is we have the building located at the San Vicente Integrated School, wherein known as the first capilla, where people during the early times went there and asked for God's assistance. We have also the Asilo de San Vicente of the Archdiocese of Nueva Segovia, known as the first governadors. And until now, it is still existing. Another one is our own municipal hall. The local government of San Vicente is designed as an Spanish architectural design, sir. So, you were talking a while ago whether the whole town of San Vicente will be declared as the heritage city, but since Sir NCAA a while ago stated that there should also be bounds and limits to identify those cultural properties, could you have taken, sir, that the Sangguniang Bayan of San Vicente will try
Ma'am, you're choppy. Ako, putol siya. Okay, we'll go back to the LGU later on. We'll call on the National Historical Commission on the Philippines, Brigadier General Pilar. Sir? NHCP? We call on NHCP, ma'am, for comments. You're on mute, ma'am. Ma'am Valerio? Ma'am, we cannot hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you hear me po?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Okay po. Okay, as per practice po, in establishing the Heritage Center or Historic Town Center, we always establish the metes and bounds of a particular area so that, as mentioned nga kanina ni Mr. Charles, it is very impractical for declaration of the entire town because all of the entire town will be subjected to the restrictions po. Unlike in establishing the particular heritage zone wherein ma-establish po natin dito yung core zone and buffer zone of the site. Now, for the structures which are out of this heritage zone, another protections will be covered into that. Bali, i-mention lang po yon yung particular site dun sa declaration na nung outside heritage zone so as to be protected po. Yun po yung natin. That's why, and later on, it is the local government po kasi ang magpo-protect nun. So, as mentioned by Charles kanina, that there will be a height restrictions and design restrictions on the particular historic or heritage zones which will be affected or which will be covered by this declaration. Yun po yung magiging nun. So that's why we need to establish po yung heritage zone. Yung meets and bounds.
By practice the local sanggunian is empowered to determine the meets and bounds after the law?
Yes, yes,
Chair?
Mr. Chair.
Chairman.
It is because after the declaration, it will be the local government to monitor and will create and implementing rules and regulations which will be applied to the particular heritages to the particular declared heritage zones and structure sites and structures.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. We again call on the local government of San Vicente.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Senator B9.
Can we just request from the LGU of San Vicente? Kasi alam naman natin na hindi tayo makakabisita or makakapasyal ngayon dito sa San Vicente. If they can provide the committee pictures of yung potential area where they plan to declare it as a heritage zone.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead po, NHCP.
Yeah, that's why dun po sa as mentioned kanina, the local government or the NCCA and National Museum already established the important historic sites and structures within the town. No, maybe in order for us to establish which are the core zone and buffer zone of the declared heritage zone, it is important for them to submit to us the cultural mapping that they created so as to establish where are the meets and bounds of those particular heritage zones. Yun po.
So, Chairman, baka si National Museum can provide us dun sa pictures nung dineclare nyo, dineclare nyo? National Cultural Treasures ba?
Treasure.
Or, ano yung mga declarations sa ginawa ng National Museum? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair? Sorry, Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Attorney Tirol po, National Museum. I'd like to go back to Senator Binay's query earlier, no? I think the concern is paano yung intangibles? And how do we define the area, no? To make sure that even those intangibles or social, cultural value of the property is also protected. So if you look at Republic Act 166, meron po siyang under Section 13, no? But basically, the responsibility to maintain is relegated or devolved upon the local government unit. Then again, tama po yung NHCP and also Charles na yung meets and bounds will be upon the authority of the local government really to determine if these intangible practices are embraced within the area. Kasi for NCCA and of course the National Museum, yung declaration namin will only cover structures. Practices naman, we just simply document, but I think the regulation and registration of that now belongs to NCCA. In any case, yung protection po, I think it is also a concern of ours. A safeguard is already provided under letter C of Section 13, RA 166. Andyan po siya. Local government units shall document and sustain all social cultural practices. So nasa LGU po yung responsibility. Now, sa request po ni Senator Binay, yes, we will supply all the photos and the identification of all structures that we declared last year. So meron tayong national cultural treasures and also yung second level na important cultural property. So yes po, if you can give us until tomorrow, we will submit before the committee the request, the photos, and also the specific level of declaration that we gave to those properties within the proposed heritage zone po. Thank you.
Kung Didi, baka meron kang pictures dyan.
Mr. Chair, sorry, hindi ako techie.
Anyone has pictures, we can show it. We can view it now. So maybe National Museum or National Heritage. You have any pictures to show, to share?
Give me, Sir Chair, how about give me mga 10 minutes, I'll run to our to the other division and get a copy po. So I can flash something.
Actually, it's all online. Madaling i-Google kasi sikat na bayan yan.
Some photos are there, pero yung
mga old pictures, wala eh. So, ganun.
Opo.
Yeah,
we can submit. Yes, some photos po.
You can
Yes, Mr. Chairman, pwede din kayang malaman from NHCP, National Museum, or even NCCE kung gaano kalaki na yung suporta na binigay nila sa San Vicente to preserve itong heritage sites nila, kung meron or wala pa.
Can be nice. Who's that directed to?
Any one of the cultural agencies. Kasi for example, yung cultural mapping, I think NCCA has a program kung sa tinuturuan nila yung LGU or kung paano mag-conduct ng cultural mapping. I don't know kung naging beneficiary na ang San Vicente dun sa mga existing programs ng cultural agencies natin.
Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, Madam Nancy, yung sa cultural mapping, it was done by my office when I was a governor. So, yun ang naging basis namin. Then, ang National Museum, they're now looking into, I think, 5 structures na yung na-identify, which are they going to help. Even DepEd, nakipagtulungan din kami kasi ginawa namin interagency yung tulungan sa convergence. So, even DPWH, they're now going to restore also yung Escuela de las Niños or something. So, yun yung mga nangyayari ngayon doon. And with the support of the LGU of San Vicente.
Congrats, Kong DV, because katulad na nabanggit ni Sen. Aimee kanina, this is a 5th class municipality. Kung walang convergence yung mga national agencies natin, I don't think mahihirapan silang maging successful yung conservation efforts nila. Yun lang po, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, and in addition to that, Mr. Chair, yung municipality of San Vicente, gumagawa na rin sila ng San Vicente Conservation Council na unlike other conservation councils na hindi sinasama yung mga national agencies, but this time we're now including the national agencies kasi talagang sila yung panggagalingan ng sporte.
Thank you, Kong DV. Talking about convergence, DOT is also here with us, the Department of Tourism. So we recognize the representative of the DOT, Attorney Viveca Lopez. DOT.
Alaman din
Attorney Viveca Lopez, are you still there? Kung wala naman po, we recognize DBM.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Makisingit na lang ako. What we have done also for the barangay, we have a barangay development strategic planning. So, yung the people in the barangay, they know already yung mga what can be done in their barangay. So, Sariling sikap din ho namin yon. It's a farm tourism, concentrating on farm tourism. And I can give you copies of that also, Mr. Chair, para siguro we can adapt sa mga barangay natin.
DOT? Kung wala na mo, DBM? Any representative from DBM? Okay. Wala. DBM is not here. I just want to go back to sa NCCA. In the law, it's specified here, Article 2, Section 3Q, and Article 4, Section 12, and Section 13 of Republic Act 166. It should be under that law, Charles. How do you define the heritage zone under that law? Because we're adopting the definition to San Vicente, correct?
Yes, sir.
So ano yung definition niya and what are the protections that are imbued in that law?
Thank you, sir. In RA 166, in Section 3, heritage zone is defined as historical, anthropological, archaeological, artistic, geographical areas and settings that are culturally significant to the country, as declared by the National Museum and or the National Historical Commission. The process and the maintenance of heritage zones are provided in Article 4, Sections 12 and 13. Specifically, Section 13 provides the responsibilities of the local government unit in maintaining the heritage zone. So one, it just has three responsibilities. One is implementation of adaptive reuse of cultural properties within that zone. The appearance of streets, parks, monuments, buildings, and natural bodies of waters, canals, paths, and barangays within a locality shall be maintained as close to their appearance at the time the area was of most importance to Philippine history, as determined by the National Historical Commission. And lastly, which was earlier mentioned by Attorney Tirol of the National Museum of the Philippines, local government units shall document and sustain all social-cultural practices.
So in other words, the local government will play a very big role in the protection and preservation.
Yes, Mr. Chen, and that's what we really like with that provision of the heritage zone, because the responsibility is devolved to the local government units, and in contrast to the national cultural agencies, of course, our mandate is limited to culture, while at least at the level of the local government unit, it has a integrated approach by which they can manage the heritage.
So what the law is doing is just declaring some parts of San Vicente as heritage zones. But the responsibility, or a large part of the responsibility, will fall under the powers of the local government unit.
Yes, Mr. Chair. And I think the inclusion of the responsibilities of the national cultural agencies is also aligned with what were being raised earlier by Congressman Savellano and Senator Marcos, that as a fifth caste municipality also needs support from national aid.
Yes, correct. All right, and then the DOT is already here, Attorney Lopez. Attorney Lopez. Kung wala naman po, we call again the local government unit because they were cut. The LGU, San Vicente. They were here earlier. I saw them, but they disappeared again. Yan. LGU San Vicente. Ma'am, naputol ho kayo kanina. You're on mute po. You're on mute. Ma'am, you're on mute. You're on mute. We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you po. May we just request the local government to send us a position paper because we cannot hear you po eh. It's just choppy. No, just send us a position paper. Can you hear us? Ma'am? Okay. Yeah, hindi namin kayo okay. Okay. So just send us a position paper, ma'am. Okay, thank you. With that, I don't have any more questions, and may we request our senators to move for its adoption and to refer to plenary.
Thank you very much. And with that, I move, Mr. Chairman, that the bill from Congressman Savillano should be approved at the committee level and forwarded as soon as possible for plenary for comprehensive debate.
I second, Mr. Chairman.
The committee approves House Bill 7927 and the committee is endorsing the said bill for plenary adoption.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Madam Amy and Madam Nancy, and to my colleagues and to everyone. Thank you very much.
And lastly, Senator, wait, baka magbilang ang hela ko. Congressman Rufus, thank you for bearing with us all the way to the end. But thank you very much, and I'm sorry for the delay. I just wanted to dispense all of the ministerial matters. But we now go to House Bill 5643. And the title of this bill is an act declaring the Cagayan de Oro River and its immediate environs located in Cagayan de Oro City, province of Misamis Oriental, a cultural heritage zone. So the same concept, except this is a river that we are declaring a cultural heritage zone. We already conducted a hearing last year, and we requested, of course, Congressman Rufus to sponsor the bill. We also requested several of the government agencies to comment on the bill. However, while we were drafting the committee report, we also received a letter coming from the different renewable energy companies operating in Cagayan de Oro River. And just to accord them with fairness and respect, we deemed it necessary to conduct another hearing just to put it on record and to discuss any issues that might come up in the approval of this measure. So we invited Bukidnon Hydro Energy Corporation, represented by Mr. Francisco Tiu Laurel. And we will just go into the discussion of the businesses and renewable energy companies that are operating in that stretch of the river, so that we will understand how this law might affect their bill and how we can improve on the bill and make sure that this type of operation will not be gravely affected. So we will, Kong Rufus, any opening statements before we call on the resource persons?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, the Honorable Chairman Win Gatchalian, and I'm happy to also see Honorable Senator Amy Marcos and Senator Nancy Binay. and all our resource persons. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. This river is very historical. The river, Mr. Chairman, in the banks of the river are found the Huluga caves, caves 1 and Huluga 1 and 2. And this Huluga cave was inhabited and by early Cagayanons way back to the late Neolithic period and early Metal Age, which is about 500 years before Christ, so 2,500 years ago. And indeed, in this near the Huluga caves in the barangay Indahag, that's upper Cagayan de Oro, upstream of our river, Mr. Chairman. There were excavations, archaeological excavations by Xavier University, its history department, archaeological department, and the UP archaeology department. And it was found out and it was reported that indeed we saw there obsidian glass, which is a product of an explosion of a volcano, and there are no volcanoes in that part of our country. And so also they found the ceramic sherds, which was carbon dated to have come from the Song and the Ming dynasty, which was, these were found there. So there has been habitation there by early Cagayanons. And then 1622, through the river, the Recollects came, Mr. Chairman, from the first evangelization of Mindanao happened in Caraga. And from Caraga, the town of Caraga, which is now in Davao Oriental, they went to Atandag, they went to Surigao City, and then they went to Butuan, and they went to Cagayan de Oro, 1622. And it was through this river that they came in. And this river, this is where also the Moro raids came. And we have a Varian Sakota who protected the Indian states, protected Cagayan de Oro. That was 1622 and the Spanish period. Then fast forward to 1901, Macahambos Cave, which is found along the bank of the river in Barangay Mambuaya, Upper Cagayan de Oro. Mr. Chairman, here was the first significant victory of Filipino nationalist forces against American colonial rule. And here, 9 Americans died, only 1 Filipino, Cagayanon, died. And so this is celebrated, this also marked the historical marker by the National Historical Commission because we resisted American rule. And many of our Filipinos, of Cagayanos, died in other battles. But in Macahambos Cave battle, which is along the river, the Americans lost terribly there. One of the few significant victories we had against the heavily armed, modernized American forces. And so, Mr. Chairman, that is the situation as far as history, archaeology is concerned. Now, on ecology, this is a Class A river, Mr. Chairman. One of the few remaining Class A rivers of our country, was certified too by the DNR. And Mr. Chairman, because it's a very pristine river and Class A, we have our whitewater rafting. This is the #1 tourist attraction of the city of Golden Friendship, Cagayan de Oro. It's only now during the pandemic that this has been stopped. But, even foreigners know about this and they fly to Cagayan de Oro. Domestic, our own Filipino people go there. Thousands and thousands have already been able to have the whitewater rafting of Cagayan de Oro River. And so we are saying that this is a cultural zone because it has history, it has culture, it has the early civilization in the river. It has the historical fight against the Moro Muslim raids and also the fight against the Americans. And it was also in these areas during the Japanese period that the evacuation of 1942 when the Japanese came to Cagayan de Oro was in the areas of the barangays along the river of Cagayan de Oro. So these are the reasons why, Mr. Chairman, we filed this House bill to be able to protect this for the heritage of not only our children, for our children's children and the generations to come. And that is why this has given me the impetus to file this bill, and it has hurdled the House of Representatives with the support of the national agencies. And so I am ready, of course, to hear. I am very glad that you have given chance to other stakeholders to be present and to be able to clarify the effects of this bill. So, Mr. Chairman, I turn this over back to you so that we can hear the other stakeholders' comments on House Bill 5643. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr. Chairman, Senators Binay and also Marcos. Thank you, Chair Wing.
Thank you, Kong Rufus. Now we call on the representative of PhilHydro, Attorney Don Villanueva. Attorney Villanueva.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm from the Department of Energy and not from PhilHydro.
Sorry. Who is the representative of PhilHydro?
Hello. Yes. Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm Trixie Roque, representing PhilHydro.
Yes.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, we're just here to and good morning also to Congressman Rufus. I'm Trixie. I used to work with Philippine National Oil Company (EDC), and I've been in
where my wife
yeah
worked before.
yeah.
Thank you, Trixie. Yes,
Yeah,
Trixie,
I guess
please
we've met before during those days.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah, I've been an advocate really of renewable energy and specifically hydro. So we just like to share that PhilHydro has been a constant and dependable partner and contributor to the Philippine economy and through the development of reliable, clean, indigenous, and sustainable hydropower plants and facilities. So I would like to convey that we believe that hydropower development activities and operations, in fact, complements po your bill through long-term and comprehensive watershed management and biodiversity programs, which we really strictly adhere to and we comply with various environmental policies and regulations prescribed by DNR. So it was hydropower development and operation po are proven as sustainable form of development and can coexist with other development or any conservation activities in the river. Thus, yung promotion of coexistence of development activities must be upheld. However po, yung hydropower plants can even moreover, to add on to that, we can even attract tourists at the same time, educate and encourage environmentally responsible behavior of visitors. So, in view of this po, we PhilHydro, we are the Association of Run-of-River Developers. We are one with your bill in the goal of conserving and preserving Cagayan de Oro River po. So, again, we're grateful and also you could also rely on us as your partner in your advocacy po. So we just wanted to convey that to the body po. Yeah, thank you.
Ms. Trixie, do you have any member companies operating along the Cagayan River?
Yeah, actually, you mentioned earlier Bukidnon Hydro Energy, whose president is Mr. Chu Laurel. I think he's represented here. I don't know if I guess he also wanted to convey their position. Attorney Alvin.
Good morning.
Yeah, we recognize Attorney Lamba of Bukidnon Hydro.
Good morning, Your Honors. Good morning, Congressman Rufus. We thank you for having us here in this committee hearing. Mr. Tiu Laurel, the president of Bukidnon Hydro, unfortunately he could not attend, so I am representing him and the company. We are a member of PhilHydro Association, and we support the position of PhilHydro in this bill. And we welcome this bill as it will also add value to the Cagayan de Oro River, especially for the cultural and tourism aspect. The run of river of our company supports this bill, Your Honors.
In other words, because you sent us a position, and your position paper contained a few suggestions, no? But your suggestion actually does not pertain to a blanket support to the bill. So I'm confused with your comments right now. You're saying you support the bill, but your position paper had a few amendments.
Yes, Your Honor, if I may explain. We support the bill in general. However, we'd like to suggest a few points on the bill to be considered by this body. Number one, we would like to point out that if there is a government agency which approves a project on the river like the DOE, we hope that the permit given by the DOE will be respected and will be recognized, because this has already been part prior to this bill.
Yeah, but from my reading of the bill, it doesn't trample on any of the existing approval. I think the basic question here is your power plant covered by this bill?
Our project site is along the Cagayan de Oro River, Your Honor. That's why if it could be specified to be clear so that there will be no room for interpretation in the future, that if there is a project which has already been approved by a government agency like the DOE, this will be given due course if the bill is enacted, Your Honor. We just want it to be clarified.
Your plant is in the Oro City or is it in Bukidnon?
Your Honor, it's in Talakag, Municipality of Talakag, Province of Bukidnon.
Okay. And which provision of the bill do you think might affect your operations?
Your Honor, there is a provision which states that there is a provision wherein government agencies are required to promulgate rules and regulations, specifically Section 8. We hope that the DOE should be considered in this provision.
Okay. Because the reason why I asked that, because I read the bill again and I don't see anything that will impede your operations, no? Because typically is protecting river from pollutants, from anything that will destroy archaeological, historical, and cultural values. So, as long as my reading here is as long as the plant is not destroying anything or not polluting, which runs contrary to RE, no, to renewable energy, then the law will not impede the power plant.
Yes, we agree, Your Honor. But our position is a suggestion that DOE should be included because we have a service contract with DOE, and the DOE might have some points regarding the utilization of the river. So that's our suggestion, Your Honor.
Okay. Any more suggestion, attorney?
Your Honor, one of our points in the position paper is to delineate the exact meets and bounds of the Cagayan de Oro River, if this is possible, Your Honor, because we noticed that in the NIPAS Act, the meets and bounds of the protected area are delineated. So if this is all possible as part of the bill.
I don't know if you were listening earlier, no, in the Ilocos, San Jose, San Vicente Heritage Zone, but it's always been delegated to LGUs, in this case to DNR, to craft the meets and bounds. No, so going by that process, the bill is compliant to that process. No? Because I looked at the Car bill, I looked at the Vicente bill, and also this bill. Everything is delegated to an implementing agency.
Your Honor, we submit to that.
What I'm trying to elicit from you is, assuming no, the meets and bounds, assuming lang the meets and bounds will cover, and it will probably cover the hydro. Is there anything in the bill that can affect your operations?
None, Your Honor. For the meets and bounds, we just noticed that for purposes of clarity, assuming that the project straddles on the meets and bounds of it, so that there will be no issue, Your Honor. But we submit, Your Honor.
What we can do, Kong Rufus, if you're with the permission of Kong Rufus, of course, is to have a more inclusive process on the determination of the meets and bounds. Maybe
Mr.
include
Chairman.
other agencies. Yes,
Mr.
Kong
Chairman.
Rufus.
Yes, first let me thank, I've heard Trixie. I would be able to tell my wife, Nenen, that we met on Zoom, and she has retired, and you've also gone on with representing the field hydro. So thank you for your suggestions and for your support, because certainly we are going to coordinate with you. The DOT and the DNR will coordinate with field hydro. The best way to be able to have good run-of-river mills is to replant the entire area, the environs of the mill. That is the way to conserve more water. If this is already denuded, if our river is denuded, it will have less water and less hydro resources. And that is why I thank Trixie for that. And now I'd like to go also and thank Attorney Alvin Jan for giving his concerns, because the purpose of our bills is to make sure that all the interests and stakeholders will be heard, and to assure them that it will not in any way be inimical to them. Now, let us go one by one, Mr. Chairman, because he has stated about first. The bill is clearly, Mr. Chairman, limited only to Cagayan de Oro and its environs. In other words, very clear, I will read to you now Section 3. The Cagayan de Oro River and its immediate environs located in Cagayan de Oro City, province of Misamis Oriental. Never is this envisioned to interfere with their plant, the Bukidnon power plant, in the Hague. In the Hague is in Bukidnon. So totally they're out of this jurisdiction as far as having the meets and bounds. The meets and bounds will be starting from Dansulihon, that's the last barangay on our side, from Bukidnon, because the next one will be Talakag. So it will not overreach. It will not reach Talakag. This is mainly Cagayan de Oro, and I saw that we put it there because precisely it's difficult to coordinate to the upland municipalities higher than Cagayan de Oro. So clearly, the meets and bounds will not affect the Bukidnon power plant, because very clear from the law, Attorney Balagbag. Have you seen that? Section 3? Only Cagayan de Oro River, its environs located in Cagayan de Oro City. Okay, now, so that's very clear. But because it's a possibility that there might be others that will be able to put up, hydro plants also in that area, I accept the suggestion of the Balagbag to include the DOE in the list of those according to Section 8. Yes, I don't see any harm, and in fact, it will improve my bill if after the national offices here, after we DNR, we can put yes, in the hierarchy here. It will be after DNR, the DOE will be included. So we accept that, Mr. Chairman. So we have answered, therefore, the concerns of the permit. Permits given outside of Cagayan de Oro, we have no problem. So you have been given permit, and it does not have to state here. Paniero, you are also a very good lawyer, as I can hear you. Laws are prospective. It can never be retroactive. If it is retroactive, then it will become a ex post facto bill, and which is denied by not allowed by the Constitution. So whatever has been there already cannot be touched by this bill because you have already been, unless you are going to violate existing laws. And the reason there why we are also concerned about you, because once you are going to discharge influence to the river, we are going to go against your neck. We are going to make sure that we are going to cancel your Bukidnon hydropower plant. Because the Cagayan de Oro River gets its water from the Talakag River, Bambubunawan River. And if you are sure, because I have talked to Mr. Laurel, and you have a very highly sophisticated system of not discharging effluents to the Cagayan de Oro River. Do you confirm what Mr. Laurel told me? That this is a very safe process and it will not destroy our Class A river, especially because once it is destroyed, livelihood of no less than 120 water rafters, guides will be lost. And of course, the other downstream industry. Are you going to confirm to us now that the Bukidnon Hydro will not destroy Cagayan de Oro, its environs?
Yes, Your Honor, we confirm that it will not destroy. In fact, we welcome this bill. I am also a fan of whitewater rafting in CDO, actually. So we are supportive of this, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Chairman, it has been, I have talked to Mr. Laurel because I am a congressman who listens to everybody, just like Senator Win. And of course, Chairman Win and Senator Amy and Senator Nancy. We always hear. So when I was texted by Mr. Laurel, I talked to him. And in fact, I asked him to get from the Cagayan de Oro River Basin Authority, River Basin Council, which is headed by the Archbishop of Cagayan de Oro at the time, who is Monsignor Ledesma, to get their approval. And you were approved by the Cagayan de Oro River Council because you went into that process even before you got your permit, and they saw no problem with your system, with your company. So I don't see any problem. So that is why, Mr. Chairman, yes, we will, as far as meet and bounds, clear. If my cousin here, ARD Aldrich Resma is here. So DNR ito, they are going to be given the power to put the meets and bounds. ARD Aldrich, with the permission of the chair, can I ask him that he will have the meets and bounds only in Cagayan de Oro City, from our farthest barangay down to the sea, to the mouth of Cagayan de Oro River. Is that confirmed, Mr. Chairman? Can we ask my cousin, the ARD of DNR, to confirm that you are not going to reach the Bukidnon Hydro, in Talakag?
Yes, Mr. Resma.
Unmute yourself, Aldrich. You are still muted.
Okay. Good afternoon, good morning, Mr. Chair. Yes, the proposed bill is within Cagayan de Oro River Basin, part of Cagayan de Oro City.
So you are not going to go to Talakag, won't you? Will you?
No.
Would you not
It's
go
only
to Talakag?
no, it's only in Cagayan de Oro.
Yes. So, Attorney Balagbag, you are safe as far as your present plant is concerned. But again, make sure that effluents that are dangerous to life will not flow down to us in Cagayan de Oro River. So, Mr. Chairman, we have now clarified meets and bounds clearly, Cagayan de Oro River only. the request of Attorney Balabag is very, very reasonable. They are going to include DOE, and so the Department of Tourism will have to consult with all this mentioned. And I like to also make sure that Trixie will be invited. DNR, can you invite Trixie to your meetings, including the Department of Tourism, when you have the meets and bounds and you will prepare the development plans for this? Because all of us want to help our river. It's still a Class A river. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Recognize Ms. Trixie.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Cong Rufus, for that. Just like to share, maybe in coordination, perhaps also with DOE, because I heard that there are also plans. There were also hydro service contracts approved in the CDO area. Although you've already said that it's prospective and it's open to hydro, since the watershed will in fact be managed with a hydropower development. But I'm just like to just note that there are some other projects that locate a smaller run-of-river located in the Cagayan de Oro portion. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for also including me in those activities. Yeah, well appreciated po.
We call on the Department of Energy, represented by Attorney Don Villanueva.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chair. We appreciate the opportunity to provide our inputs on this important bill. We support the purposes of the bill as stated by Congressman Rodriguez. We need to, at this point, we need to refer the matter to some of our other bureaus, particularly the Renewable Energy Management Bureau for their comments and inputs. And we would like to ask for time to get their comments and consolidate them for the approval of our principal.
Attorney, yes, we will give you time, but let's do it ASAP. As I understand it, there is no operation within the Cagayan de Oro Basin. However, according to Ms. Trixie, there were service contracts that were issued. No, so I just want to get your comments on this interplay. And yes, we will give you ample time to comment, but please do it as soon as possible, because we want to get this bill approved, hopefully before we take a long break.
Yes, Mr. Chair, that is well taken.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask if they have given permits within the Cagayan de Oro jurisdiction of some other power generating plants. And we will know what are these plants that they have applied for, which is found in Cagayan de Oro City itself, not in Bukidnon, from the DOE. Mr. Villanueva.
Yes, sir. We will get the information from the Hydropower and Ocean Energy Management Division, and we will submit it together with our comments on your bill.
Yes.
If that is okay,
assured.
sir.
Thank you. Yeah, that will be okay. Be assured, Mr. Villanueva, that precisely the whatever plans they will have made by the Department of Tourism and the DNR should be able to get you, the DOE, on board, because we do not want to be able to stop development, for example, of run-of-river. I mean, this is a river, as long as we are assured, and we are always assured, that the kind of plants you're going to place there will not pollute the Class A Cagayan de Oro River. So we will expect your report to the committee, and I will be asking a copy from the committee on what are the applications or approvals of hydro run-of-river projects in Cagayan de Oro City, from beginning from our boundary from Talakag, so that we will also know. I would like to know who are those going to apply there, so that we can also be able to touch base with them to make sure that their effluents, the discharge of this runoff river will not endanger the lives of our guests who will take whitewater rafting, and also those in the city itself. So thank you for that, Mr. Villanueva.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Department of Tourism is requesting to be recognized.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Attorney Lauren.
Good afternoon. I apologize for the internet connection problem earlier, and if I may be allowed to keep my video off to help my internet connection stabilize po.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to manifest on behalf of the Department of Tourism its support to the proposed measure, especially because it is parallel with one of the objectives of the DOT, which is to encourage activities and programs which promote tourism awareness, preserve the country's diverse culture and heritage, and instill a sense of history and a culture of tourism among the youth and the populace. And concomitant to this support po, we would like to interpose some clarifications on specifically on 3 points. The first one being on the matter of funding. We would like to clarify if there would be any specification as to the source of funding for this endeavor. And in order to make the project or the endeavor itself feasible, also we would like to recommend that the formulation of the proposed measure be done in consideration of the Mandanas ruling. In order to note as well that the basic services and facilities devolved to LGUs include tourism facilities, promotion and development. And with regard to the leadership, the proposed measure prudently assigned the mission to develop the subject area to concerned agencies that are well equipped for the task. However, may we just ask for a clarification as to a specific body or entity that will lead these initiatives? Would there be a council or any specific group of any specific entity that would be formed pursuant to this measure, and what would be the composition and as well as the specific powers and functions and duties of such a council should there be one. And lastly, as to the implementation, again, we would like to clarify if there would be a specific body or entity that would be identified to ensure the implementation of the provisions of the proposed measure. And with that, with the foregoing comments and recommendations, the DOT strongly supports the enactment of the proposed measure po.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Kong Rufus.
Yeah, we thank the Department of Tourism for its endorsement of this. Now, we have a question specifically on budgetary allocation and also the Mandanas ruling. Mr. Chairman, it is very clear under Section 3 of this bill that the responsibility of implementing and putting up a priority development plan and its implementation is the Department of Tourism. We believe that, this is a project which involves the tourism of Cagayan de Oro and Region 10, that it is something that they can be able to fund. That is why they are mandated, Mr. Chairman, to be accorded, it should be accorded priority development by the Department of Tourism in coordination with, of course, we have also the city of Cagayan de Oro and so forth. The Mandanas ruling does not in any way oust any jurisdiction of the Department of Tourism. It can continue to fund projects which they believe are very vital to our country's tourism. And one, I would say that in Region 10, Cagayan de Oro, whitewater rafting is one of the primary tourist attractions that we have. And in fact, that is why we made tourism as the lead agency here. And so we will help in the if there was this approved and there is a priority project plan, we will put our support in the national budget. Now, the Mandanas-Garcia ruling certainly would increase by 28% of the local governments. That is the statement of the Bureau of Local Government Finance and the DBM, that there will be almost across the board increase from what you have now for the LGU's present, we don't call it anymore era, but because that has been declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, it's now called National Tax Allocation, NTA, di hindi na IRA. So, while there will be 28%, Mr. Chairman, tourism is certainly below the radar of any local government. They have to take care first of health, of education, and other very important projects, infrastructure. So that is why we are going to have this. We don't want to burden Cagayan de Oro. It's a big city. There's so many responsibilities. So we want to put this in a national agency, commensurate to the kind of river that we have that is giving tourism to our country, not only in Region 10, but the entire country. So it is clear that the budgetary here will be with the Department of Tourism, Mr. Chairman. So that's why it is there to clarify to Ms. Trixie. And I hope she will also support us in having, once we have a development plan, to be able to have that also financed, not on a immediate 100% expense, but it can be over a period of time. Because as we have seen, the Mandanas ruling has reduced the budgets of our national agencies. But certainly, we believe that this can be handled very well, implemented and funded by the Department of Tourism. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Kong Rufus. We'll take note of the comments of the DOT, but another resource person signified his intention to manifest some points. The Cagayan de Oro City, represented by Mr. Baklid. Sir, are you still there?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon. Good afternoon also to Senator Marcos and Senator Binay. Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, sir. Good afternoon. I'm Hilarion Baclig from the City Local Environment and Natural Resources Office of Cagayan de Oro. I would just like to make a small presentation on the overview of Cagayan de Oro River, if I may be allowed, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
I already sent my presentation to the Secretariat to please show on the screens.
Hold on, we'll contact the.
Okay, Mr. Chair. But while waiting for the slides, yes, Mr. Chair.
Have it with you. You can do a share presentation.
I am using my phone. I cannot do it on my end, but nevertheless, Mr. Chair, nevertheless, I will just describe Cagayan de Oro River. Basically, Cagayan de Oro River is not only situated within Cagayan de Oro. It comprises of several municipalities along Bukidnon as well as Iligan. So the whole river basin comprises a total land area of 138,730 hectares, to which Cagayan de Oro has only 21,135 hectares. So the rest of that belongs to other municipalities in Bukidnon, namely Baungon, Libuna, Talakag, and some parts in Iligan City as well, Mr. Chair. That's okay.
Let's start from the beginning so you can walk us through.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Chair. The second slide would show us the map of Cagayan de Oro River. The blue lines indicates Cagayan de Oro River. So you can see it covers a lot of municipalities, especially in Bukidnon. Mostly is situated in Bukidnon. The next slide would show us the next slide, please. Would show us the sub watersheds of Cagayan de Oro River. There are 8. That is Batang, Kalawaig, Pikalin, Pikutin, Bubunawan, Tagiti, Tumalaong, and Munigi. To which only Munigi sub-watershed is situated within Cagayan de Oro City. Next slide would show us the rainfall runoff of the river. As you can see, it comes from mostly from Bukidnon, and Cagayan de Oro is basically the receiving end of the runoff water, especially during typhoons and rains. Next slide, please. So the head water source of Cagayan de Oro River mainly comes from Mount Kitanglad and Mount Kalatungan. It has an area. Mount Kitanglad has an area of 47,270 hectares with an elevation of 2,950 meters. Likewise, Mount Kalatungan has 21,300 hectares with an elevation of 2,824 meters. Next slide, please. So this is the situation for Cagayan de Oro River. We are merely at the receiving end. So during Typhoon Sendong, that's why Cagayan de Oro was really heavily affected because of the denuded watersheds, especially in Bukidnon. So what we are proposing to Congressman Rufus is that there is already a Cagayan de Oro River Management Council. It comprises of the whole watershed. And in fact, I believe there is already a CDO River Basin Master Plan already in place, which was already approved by the Regional Development Council, and as well as the DNR Watershed Management Plan through their project INREM. I believe there is already a master plan in place for that. What we would like to request Congressman Rufus is to include those master plans or those development plans for Cagayan de Oro River for this House bill for the likewise the institutionalization of the CDO RBMC. Mr. Chair.
Are you tapos na po, Mr. Bangkit?
Yes, Mr. Chair. That's why we would like to request Congressman Rufus if he would be amenable for the inclusion of the CDO RBMC and the development plans already in place for Cagayan de Oro River Basin.
Mr. Chairman, yes, we thank Mr. Baklig of the Environmental Office of the City Cagayan, definitely. And we can include in the section, Mr. Chairman, the mention of the River Basin Authority. I am in touch with the officers of the River Basin Authority. And precisely, we have asked them to submit a proposal. And it's mainly that there should be coordination between the Department of Tourism and the DNR with the River Basin Authority. This is headed by Archbishop, as I mentioned earlier, by the Archbishop Cagayan de Oro, and of course the Vice Chairman is from the city government. So I would certainly like to include, Mr. Chairman, in the provisions of the development plan, because here, Mr. Baklig, we want the national government so that within the time of problem as a city to be able to finance the development here and give priority by the tourism. Of course, if you can see here, we have mentioned Cagayan de Oro City here in the plan, in the priority development plan, the city government of Cagayan de Oro City. And I would like to add here the proposal of Mr. Baklig to add here that in coordination, in other words, the tourism plan should always take into account the river basin plan that we have. So therefore, can we have the name of the exact name to be included from Mr. Baklig in this in section 3, Mr. Chairman, after the city of Cagayan de Oro and before and other concerned agencies, because we want this the Department of Tourism to always take into consideration the plan, and this will be there will be convergence between the protection. Now, the good thing is that the basin has even higher than Cagayan de Oro, but my bill will only be here because it's difficult also to be able to have the other places. But they are in the basin. So maybe ask from Mr. Baklig what will be included on Section 3 so that we mention. This is the Cagayan de Oro, CDO.
The Cagayan de Oro River Basin Management Council, Congressman Rufus.
Yeah, I will
Management
have that,
Council.
Management Council. Management.
Yes. Thank you.
Council.
Thank you, Cong Rufus.
Yes. So with that suggestion, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we would add in Section 3 the following words. After the city of Cagayan de Oro, because when the DOT will plan this, it has to get the views of Cagayan de Oro City. And then, comma, then the CDO River Basin Management Council and other concerned agencies. So we'll include this in the development plan so that there will be no plan which will not have the support of the Cagayan de Oro River Basin Management Council. Thank you, Mr.
Congressman
Chairman.
Rufus. Thank you.
Rufus, and thank you for keeping an open mind and keeping an open mind on the suggestion of our various resource persons. With that, we've exhausted all of our resource persons, Kong Rufus, and just as a last question, Kong Rufus, and a reiteration. So the bill just contemplates the river, Cagayan de Oro River, within the jurisdiction of Cagayan de Oro City.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. It will be difficult to coordinate with the other LGUs. Good that we have the city government, we are able to coordinate with them. But there are many others in Bukidnon. That's very, it goes all the way back to Mount Kitanglad, Mount Balatungan. So we are therefore, if the congressmen of the other districts of Cagayan de Oro, of Bukidnon will be minded to also protect their areas, then we will also help them. And so this will just be here because we are also really protecting, Mr. Chairman, the cultural artifacts and the archaeological finds in the banks of the river of Cagayan de Oro City.
Thank you, Kong Rufus. With that, with your kind understanding, we're going to subject the bill into a technical working group, just a quick technical working group so that we can collate all the position paper, and then after that, we'll sponsor this to plenary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much for that action. Thank you to Mr. Baklig, to Trixie, and to Tony Balagbag. I just got a text from Mr. Laurel Frani thanking me that, the suggestions of the Bukidnon Power will be included certainly in my bill. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Attorney Balagbag also.
Thank you, Kong Rufus. And whenever I listen to you, I'm reminded of my times in school. Parang nakikinig ako sa ko.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we really have research on Cagayan de Oro history and the river and so forth. So I'm just sharing with you what we as Cagayanons have learned, and this bill is about them. It's about protecting for them and the generations to come. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman, to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, any last words, Senator Amy?
Thank you very much, and I'd just like to lend support for the effort of Kong Rufus and the others involved in renewable energy. As you know, Ilocos Norte has vast experience in that area, and as much as we want renewables, we do not want the effort for sustainable energy to result in natural degradation. So these things have to go hand in hand, progress together with our environmentalism campaign. Thank you very much, Bob.
Thank you, Senator Amy. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Manifestation of that support, Senator Amy, is your windmill virtual picture at the back. You might not see it, but we can see it.
I forgot. That's right, Bob.
Yeah, it's energy. Yeah.
So with that, I thank Kong Rufus, and thank you, Kong Rufus, for your patience, for staying with us. Thank you, Senator Ivy, also for staying with us. And of course, I thank everyone for participating in this hearing. We've exhausted everything. We've covered all the bills. So thank you very much for your time, and we'll just alert you if we need more of your comments. So thank you very much. This hearing is now adjourned.
Thank you to all.